Omar Gooding, happy to have you back, my man.
Thanks, brother. Thanks for having me.
Yes, indeed, man. So much I want to chop it up with you about, man. So much to get into. We
Come
can
on.
get right into it. How did you feel personally about that Kevin Hart roast and the backlash it got?
Kevin Hart won. Okay, I'll answer. Let me just give you my honest reaction before I get into because I've heard a lot of stuff online and people going back and forth and so forth and so on. First of all, I'm a comic. I'm a comedian. That's what I do. This, how I live my life. I love to laugh. I've done sitcoms. Now I do stand-up comedy. I went to a comedy club. I went to the Improv, and they was out front roasting each other. And I walked by, and one of the dudes was like, "Hey, bro, we out here roasting each other. Is it all right if I get you? Is it cool? Is it cool?" And I was always like, "You got to ask. No, some people have thick skin. Some people can take it, some can't. You say something crazy to me, it's coming back at you. Like, that's fine. But watching the roast, I knew what I was getting into. You know what I mean? The people that have a problem with it, I think they were just expecting comedy, and as it went overboard, and it did go overboard, I think they crossed several lines. We could talk about racism. We could talk about how the fact that they was talking about this woman's husband that killed himself. I was like, damn. Every time they said that shit, I was just like, it wasn't funny to me, but it was like, damn. Sometimes we respond and we laugh. Sometimes we go, ooh, shit, you serious? And it was a whole lot of that. We know what time it was. It was Netflix. We know they was paying everybody. You know that they had the whole teleprompter and all that up there. They was reading everything. They approved everything that was said and some stuff off script, whatever. Me personally, I was laughing my ass off at most of it because there was a lot of good humor, a lot of clever jokes in there. And then some of it was just insults. You know what I mean? Now, at the time, when it got real crazy, and the dude that they was talking to come guzzling, little gay, this and that, Nazi, they was calling him everything in the book. And then he had his turn. And he got up there and I was like, oh, shit, here we go. And he did what he do. You know what I mean? And when he said the thing about, I'll give you both of them. He said the thing about Charlie Kirk, and I was like, ooh, I did one of them. Ooh, Charlie Kirk ain't my dude. I'll be honest. I didn't know who he was. I'd be straight honest with you till he died. Then I did my research and I was like, oh, really? Okay. And then I kind of had to weigh the pros and cons. Like, okay, he did this, he did that. Some people loved him. A lot of people were just had a problem with him. Whatever the case was, the way he died was brutal. It was fucked up. But he died. He said a joke about him. And then he hit him with the George Floyd. And I was like, it offended me because of how directly connected I am as a black man with the George Floyd incident, just of the injustice of it, just of the inhumanity of it, just in the you put your neck, your knee on his neck, and this is human to human. You let him die under your knee. I don't want to hear about what he was doing before, what he did, the drugs, the blah, 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 asphyxia. I don't give a shit. Human to human, that shit, he could have been white and it would have been awful as still. It wouldn't have hit as hard because being black and like, goddamn, we still getting treated like this. So when he made the joke about, and he just threw it in there, I didn't have time to process it enough to be upset. I just, at the time that it happened, over the course of watching the entire roast, it happened like it just fell in line with everything. It still put me in the red because I'm black. And we talk about the N-word, and white people, why can't I say it? Why would you want to say it? There's no other word that you can say about any other race. You can talk about Jews if you want, that's fine. I'm not gonna go there. But that can just, one word that'll make you think of 400 years of raping, pillaging, hanging, killing babies. But the worst shit you could possibly do to a motherfucker for 400 years, and ha ha. That's how it feels when you say the N-word to people maybe 40 and up. I'll just put it that way. The younger generation, we just, I'm trying to count myself as with them. They kind of take it and have a little more fun with it. We tried to desensitize it by using it with each other and on each other. And there's different meanings and ways you can say it and so forth and so on. But the George Floyd, it just hit different, man. And I was shocked. I was a little shocked because after watching the whole thing, I was just like, they didn't went there. I remember when Cheryl got up there and she was like, you almost said the N-word, we would have burnt this bitch down. And I was like, it didn't seem that offensive. But the George Floyd shit just hit a little different. It definitely did, I gotta say.
When you hear people call him a puppet or a sellout, how you feel about that?
All right, so a lot of times when we talk about other people that I don't really know, I kind of defer and I go on little different tangents and whatnot. Now, I have, in my opinion, there's two people. I remember Kevin Hart, about Soul Plane days, I knew him. We'd see each other, what's up, that type of thing, but out in public, not hung out in the house, play cards, but just on some, oh, there you go, what up, man? Show love, respect, and we hang. I remember last time, I believe that I interacted with him, he was about to go on stage and he was trying out all his jokes on us, and we was just laughing and shit. Then he got on stage and then hit us with all the same jokes. And we was like, man, that was fun. It was at the Comedy Store. And I was like, man. And then he blew the fuck up. What I will say is, I do get offended when people say shit like that. Like, you gonna tell me how to feed my family? You gonna try to tell me with the choices that I have and the opportunities that I have, if I make this choice to maximize on that, you gonna tell me what I'm doing you don't agree with, or you wanna cancel me? That's what you're gonna say? You're going to make that judgment call when you don't know? Because the bottom line is, I don't know. Now, I don't agree. I'm a different type of comedian than a lot of people. Like, there's things that I won't do, an actor, an entertainer, that I just won't do, that are on my list. But there are two types of people out here, man. I mean, there's many different types. But I would just talk about the two that I can speak on. And I will even I'll be as personal as I can. Me and my brother are two different types of people. We're both actors. We're both black men, both raised by two black parents. You know what I mean? Both, love all races, put it like that. But you know what I mean? But we're different. Now, there's levels of the difference between the two of us, other than the 10-year gap. One difference is I have a won't do list of things, because I feel I don't need to, especially in comedy. If I'm doing comedy, and you tell me it'll be funnier if you put this wig on and lipstick and put some fake boobs on and run out there and say, hey, girl, it'll be funnier. I'm going to say, no, I do not agree. I think I can be even funnier without the wig and the dress. That's just me. Now, that's not a knock on Jamie Foxx or a knock on Martin, who both of them I respect. I didn't look at Wanda like, oh, damn, he doing this or whatever, and the Shanae and all that shit. I wasn't offended or felt some kind of way about them. That's just the choices they made, and they're comfortable, so be it. My brother, yeah, he did it with boat trip. He had a thong on and was dancing and da-da. I didn't think any less of him as a man. I was just like, better you than me. My big ass ain't doing it. You ain't gonna have me up in there looking crazy like that. It's just not gonna happen for many different reasons. I'm not gonna do it justice. It'll be more offensive to them. You know who them are, than it would be, funny or whatever the case is. So I have a don't do list. I have things that I don't do. But I don't judge the people that do. So what? That's what they chose and they're comfortable with it. When they go out, they don't have they boys going, ooh, you had on the dress. No, obviously, the world they live in, they're fine with it. Me, I'll be in the streets, so I can't call me no punk. Oh, you had that dress on. Now I got to fight everybody. You know what I mean? But to get directly to your question, I just think people got to take a look in the mirror, you know what I mean? Because it's like, what people? Who? I'm sure the people around him every day aren't saying that. I'm sure the people that he interacts and cuts checks with and gets the bill and pay the check aren't calling him no kind of sellout. Matter of fact, they're congratulating him. So he just keeps surrounding himself with those type of people, as you should. Who are the people that are saying it? People online that he doesn't know? Now, I did a series. Now, I wasn't going to talk about this, but I did a series at the beginning of the year, and the lead on the series is Roseanne Barr. I posted a picture of Roseanne Barr and put it on a me, and I'm just, back at television, doing my thing, feeding my family. It's me. It's Drea De Mateo plays the wife, so it's interracial. I'm like, that hits close to home. Mixed kids, 3 kids. We got 4 mixed kids, boom, boom, boom. And the script is crazy. I hope people give it a chance. I know who's gonna watch it off top because she has a following. You know what I mean? They're going to watch off top. But I hope other people give it a chance. If you want to laugh, give it a chance. If you don't, hey, that's on you. Because I go after the content. I go after what I know my fans will like, in the sense of, this was funny. Omar represented himself like a man. He was strong. He did his thing. And he did the hero role. I don't take the punk roles. I just don't. That's just my choice. I feel there's enough roles for you to take that you can choose all of the good ones. You don't have to just show the spec. Oh, I can do this too. Get back to me versus my brother. Not even versus, but in comparison, because some people have their opinion on this and that. Who's better? Who got an Oscar? But the reason behind it is that he can do anything. He can play a fucking teapot. Boom, steam will start coming out his ears. This motherfucker's phenomenal. I can't do teapot. I do crock pot. Let me simmer. I know what I can do, but I know what I can't do. And I live in the world where I can. I kill all them roles because there's plenty. And then I always have to give advice to kids and people coming up like, yeah, man, how do I this and that? How do I navigate through this? And are there such things as selling your soul and all that? Yes, all of that shit is real. And it's not as literal as here's the dotted line and dip it in the rituals and all of a sudden we'll take your firstborn, all that shit. It's you making the choice to say, yes, I'll do that. Even though you're like, I know I shouldn't. That's selling your soul. This is going to come back and it's going to be a problem that I cannot overcome. Me making the choice to do a show with Roseanne Barr was more about the opportunity and the content, helping someone who's a comedian who may have made some mistakes and said some shit. I personally met her, had to sit down and talk. I said, I f with her. Let's do this. And then we have chemistry that's crazy. It's crazy. But I can see people on the outside looking in, these opportunists, these people that judge and say, no, she must be this, she must be that. Nope, not gonna go there. But what myself always be on the shoulder. I hear you, shoulder. Listen, there are choices that we all have to make, and you make them because you can live with them. You make them because you're comfortable. That's what you should do. And then you'll be successful. You're not going to be able to please everybody. That's how you go crazy. If you try to, well, I do this, they're not going to like it. If I do this, they're going to that. Stand your ground. Make your list, have your do's and your don'ts. And that's what I do. I say, okay, I'll do this, 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 and this, and I'm going to do them well. And when they see Omar Gooding, whatever you think of the project, whatever, it's a comedy. Come laugh. Now, when I decide to do some weird drama and I'm a devil worshiper Nazi, some weird shit, then, oh, don't watch that shit, or I've lost my mind, or I've been cloned. You know what I mean? But until then, I think I've represented myself as best as I could.
Let me ask you this, right? When you hear the word puppet or sellout, from your point of view, what would be your description of that?
Oh, like in general, somebody who I think they do compromise their beliefs. I think that they would throw their own family and their own friends under the bus and just for the money, you know. I love Snoop, and I'm not saying he's in this category, but I see the struggle. You got to watch what you say when you just throw shit out there. Like, I'm talking all this shit, and all of a sudden I get the phone call. $4 billion to stand next to Trump. Oh, shit. $4 billion? God damn. Am I going to be naked? No. Is he going to have clothes on? Okay. I'll stand by him, but I'm not going to put on the fucking MAGA hat. Why? Because I don't believe in it. That doesn't make sense to me. Make America great again? When the fuck was it great? And great for who? Like, you know what I mean? But no, you got to buy the Kool-Aid. You got to wear the hat. Well, then I got to pass, bro. Because I can't get behind that completely. I make decisions based on, again, what makes sense, first and foremost to me. Some people are impulsive. I don't do. You see, I'm having an interview and I'll still go, nope, not going to say that. Like, you know what I mean? That's thinking before you speak. And you also got to think before you act. You know what I mean? And I think if more people did that, there'd be a lot more people here. People would be more happy. If you want to laugh, go to a comedy show. But don't go to a comedy show because you're upset. You know, I wouldn't see a horror film and then criticize everybody in it and saying, oh God, that was too scary and it was demonic and well, don't watch it then. You know what I'm saying? So a sellout is a person that just has no morals, no beliefs. They don't care. They change. They believed one thing or they were raised a certain way. The money hit and they said, you could have even more if you did it. And they said, yes, I'll do it. And people say, damn, I didn't know him. Well, I knew him. He would have never done that. Now all of a sudden he's doing that. The shit you said you wouldn't never fucking do. Well, you know, so I don't want to say his name again, but it's tough when you get put on camera saying something and then to the contrary, oh, guess what? You said you never do that, and there you go. And you know, for me, it's at this age, I'll be 50 this year. If I was to ever be one, it would have happened by now. I had plenty of time, plenty of opportunities. And again, I just want to make this clear. When I say you always have a choice. You always hear, yeah, you always have a choice. Sometimes you don't. No, you always have a fucking choice. When you get the material and you're just auditioning, you have a choice. Because you get the whole script, they can't spring nothing on you. Oh, surprise, now you're kissing the dude. No. Where the fuck was that written? We just wrote it in. Okay, well then sue me, goodbye. What they gonna do? You can't do that. No, that's never happened. There's also a huge amount of common sense both ways. Some people can be approached by members of a certain community or belief and be persuaded to join them. You're already there if you can be persuaded. In my opinion, you know who you can talk to and you can. Like, you talk about, what was that, Cruz, and he got his balls grabbed or some shit, and like, we were like, what, he didn't do nothing, da-da-da-da. Again, I don't know the man, so I can't go there. But there's certain men, you'd be like, don't even try him. You don't even try that guy or that girl. Oh, you don't even mess with her like that. Don't talk to them that way. You just know. So that's why when people do things that are confusing, or you go, wait, why would they do that? I can't believe, look at them. They're fine with it. That's fucking why. Ain't nobody hold no gun to your head. I feel bad for the kids that got abused when they were younger, that whole Nickelodeon thing, because the parents were fucking ignorant. Well, they told me I couldn't go. And you let your child go? Why? No, my mama would fucking never. What do you mean I can't go? And that's my kid? I'll beat everybody up in this motherfucker, get the police over here, because it ain't not a chance. You can't tell my mama what they gonna do with their child. I would never allow my child to be put in harm's way, with respect and with all, in God's grace, and God knows my heart. Later that you have to trust. Okay, he's 15 now, he wants to have a sleepover, something happens over there, that was out of my control. But 8 and 7 and 6 and 5, out of here. No, it's your responsibility. As an adult, you have these choices. You have a chance to go right or left. And I swear to God, everybody knows the right way to do everything. Sometimes you just don't. I still make mistakes. Out of here. I do something right, but right after I make the mistake, I go, God damn it, I knew I shouldn't have did that. So now what I try to live by is listen to that voice. Whatever you want to call the voice. God, in my circumstances, God. It may be something else in your beliefs. But there's always something in the back of your mind saying, yeah, you ain't able to do that. Don't do that. You're like, our it is led to death and incarceration and a whole lot of tragedy and misery.
I want to ask you about your brother, man. I mean, at one point, he was the it guy in Hollywood, man. I mean, he was in Radio. That was a real good movie, man. Jerry Maguire. And out of nowhere, from my point of view, it just seemed like they just start coming at him hard, man, with hit pieces,
Yeah.
smear campaigns. And I always wonder, did he do something behind the scenes to make somebody mad? Because they came out of nowhere coming at him, man.
So this is, again, when you interview me, what you're getting is my opinion. In my opinion, yes. People say, is there such a thing as puppets? Is there such a thing as sell your soul? Is there such a thing as attack? Yes. We've seen it too many times. Now, in the instance of my brother, I'm going to speak on it because he did an interview, and when he spoke on it, I was looking at the screen going, because I think it's a little harder to defend yourself when you're just getting attacked from so many angles. And then they did the Me Too thing where people were coming up and saying, yeah, you attacked me too, and da-da-da-da-da-da. And it's crazy because the last public back and forth that I was in, there were people chiming in that I later found out weren't even real people. Robots and bots, and you fake comments and fake accounts and all that type of shit. And it's like, damn, that's crazy. With my brother, what he was accused of blew my mind, because they accused him of inappropriate touching. And I said, what the fuck is inappropriate? Go on. And they had footage. They showed the footage, and it was him and his girlfriend, not his wife, girlfriend sitting next to him, and then some other girl comes over, and his hand goes up like this and back down, and then it cut away, and then the news anchors were like, man, shocking, hard to watch. I was like, what was hard? What did we even look at? And they go, we got more footage. And he was walking through the club, and the girl that accused him was walking behind him like, hey, let me ask you another question. And it was like, what the This is news? Inappropriate touching? You know how many motherfuckers can be arrested for dancing in the 90s if inappropriate touching is illegal? Like, are you kidding me? Like, the way we would just be up on a female is just, so anyway, so it seemed so far-fetched to me that it made that radar go off. Like, what? Now, I will say this. My brother has fun. He made it to the top relatively early in his stardom. he got the fucking Oscar. That's it. That's you're at the top now. Then everyone loves him, and he got all these other opportunities, and then he had other chances to show how great he was. Radio, Men of Honor, phenomenal. I think he should have got Oscars for both of those. And Jerry Maguire was awesome. But then he was partying. It was like, it's party time. He has fun. I would go to clubs and be like, your brother was here last night. Boy, we just like, put your clothes on. Like he's a wild boy. And he would be on TMZ every 5 minutes. Nothing malicious, nothing illegal, just having fun. Too much damn fun. Like, bro, are you on drugs? He's like, I don't do drugs. He has a super hyper personality. Like, even growing up, my mom always say, oh man, this man thought he was Superman at 9, jumped off the thing, cut his head open, stitched it. Like, he was always a live wire. Me, I was always laid back. He's a New Yorker. I was born on the West Coast. That's just what it is. You know what I mean? So, and I always say this too, because it's funny. I've had so much alcohol and weed that I've been blackout messed up. So I've never tried anything else because I don't see the reason or the need to. They say, oh, it's a gateway. Gateway to fucking what? I don't need to, if I want to get more, I just drink more or get high. So I never understood harder drugs. That's just me. Him, similar. He's just so energetic and full of life that if he was to do that shit, it'd be a fucking problem. But anyway, I do believe he made somebody upset. I will not say my full belief. I can get into details because I knew right while I said, And ever since that, all of a sudden, you know what I mean? And it snowballed. It was terrible. It was bad for him. I don't know how much his business is out there, but financially, everything dried up, boom, 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 houses, just everything was bad. And he had to, crawl out of it. He's still crawling out of it. You know what I mean? And he's got a lot of big stuff going now, which is good for him. Real powerful stuff. Some good connections and alliances that he's making with some people. So I'm real excited and happy for him. But he's having a rebuild, the specific incident too, and I will say a little bit about this because I'll use a little my platform, your platform, to just give a little touch on it. He was accused of several things. The inappropriate touching thing was weird. That case wound up being dropped. It was just too weird. One person said that they were in a club with him and touched, a lot of weird stuff, right? But he pled guilty to one of the accusations. And I was like, what was it? Let me tell you what it was. Real quick. I'll try to be quick. He went out and tipped a waitress. The waitress got so happy with the amount he tipped her, she came back and kissed him on the cheek. And he grabbed her face and said, you missed, and kissed her on the mouth. She said, oh. That was one of the accusations. That's the one that they pulled. Once they said, oh, wait a minute, He said, yeah, I did that. So, okay, you grabbed her without her will. That's inappropriate. I'm like, come on, yo. But that's what, so when people say, oh, well, he was guilty. Yeah, freaky mother. Like, he was guilty of what? That, So anyway, but again, we don't know what happens behind closed doors. We just don't. I love him. I'll vouch for his character of what I've seen, but I don't go behind every closed door with him. I don't know what the fuck he does. He's at the Diddy party. He did this, he did that, he didn't do that. I don't know. I'm not gonna vouch for that shit. I wasn't there. I've been shocked by people before. Like, he would never. He did? God damn it. But that being said, again, I'm very long-windedly answering your question. Yes, I believe people get targeted. They make the mistake. It's fucking scary, man, because, it's almost like how much power do you want? How much influence do you want to have? And if it goes to your head, they'll take you out any way they can. Some people get killed. Some people get cloned. Some people get in accidents, So you gotta watch what you do, and you gotta fly somewhere in between to make it to 105. Or else, the number drops. So I hear that. My shoulder's going again. Knock it off. That's you. Go ahead.
Yeah, I knew I wasn't bugging, man. Because at one point, they was coming at him hard, man. It looked personal.
Yeah. And, when you're loved, which is really cool, man. Because, people love him. And he's got that celebrity that when he can go anywhere and it's like, oh, shit. I loved you in this. I loved you in that. And that's cool. I think initially when the accusations came out, he said, I'm going to be quiet and let them judge me or let the courts handle it. And I'm like, yo, I'm innocent and you accuse me of shit. I'll be on every podcast, every day I'm on my phone. Listen here, this is what happened. But he chose to be quiet and he kind of just had to ride it out. And it's also messed up. You find out where your friends are. Everybody's like, oh, did such and such call? Did whoop de whoop hand? You're like, nope. Nobody even check on me. Because people, they're like, they see the attack, bro, and go, oh, shit. Well, don't attack me, too. I can't be like, yeah, that's my friend. I vouch for him. Oh, yeah? Well, we found out that you was, oh, never mind. I don't know the name. I don't know him. I don't know. It's hard to have friends.
But if they saying that he grabbed her against her will, can you say the same thing about her? Because, I mean, you said that she grabbed him, too, right? And tried to kiss him on the cheek?
Yeah, but who's gonna believe that? Even the girl, she didn't want to testify, and they kind of made her. But like I said, they wound up dropping that part of the case. They just found something else. It's like keep digging till you find something to stick, and then let them ride it out from there. But again, that's why I have to say the whole truth. Like if I can defend my brother up until a certain point, that's my brother. You know what I mean? It's not me. You know what I mean? So I could say, yeah, sure, he could have did this or he did that. This find out, oh yeah, well he did this. Was it criminal? No, but someone didn't like it, and then this happened. Last time we were on, we were talking about my dear friend Merlin, and we didn't really get into the stuff because he's gone. He can't defend himself. You can't go, let's interview him. But when everyone says they weren't surprised, it's like, well, there was a side of him that was questionable. It wasn't criminal. But if you piss off and do something that's just not right or just, in poor taste to the wrong person, it could be over for you.
I never got to ask you, but how was it like working with Thea? I always heard that she was a little difficult to work with.
Thea was a hot mess, bro. She was, oh my God. I don't want to, I don't know who I think I am sometimes. I'm about to get on this soapbox. Like, what the, you had the same Black history as the rest of us. You know that when you get a position of power, what that means. It doesn't mean you can abuse it. You can do what anybody else do. I was in the car with a friend of mine and we got pulled over and we're both African American. Both of the cops were not. And he was talking like he wasn't Black. I said, man, if you don't cooperate, what the fuck are you talking to them like that for? Thea was a mess, bro. She was cursing out everybody. And the funny thing is, I've had a couple relationships to where nobody likes this person, but they ain't never did nothing wrong to me. So I'm like, I would say I fucks with them, but I don't not fuck with them. I don't fuck with them. I'm like, why not? Because they did this. Yeah, to you. And then when they finally bite me, you're right, get the fuck off me. Thea, like I said, she was wild, and I don't think even the season lasted all the way, but I remember they had me in like some suit, and it was tight, but I was, the new guy, and I just, it was, it's funny because you have wardrobe people, and they'll be like, oh, it looks great, and I'm like, I can barely breathe. They're like, but it looks great. And you're like, all right, as long as it's not like, tight like some spandex or some shit, but I knew it was snug. And I was, I don't know, 12, 11, whatever the case was. Anyway, and Thea saw me on it. She's like, cut. No. Change that boy out of that. He looked like he'd been stuffed into that suit. And I was like, thank God. And they went and changed me out of it. She was just being her. Like, take him and put him in something else. And people can't hold water, especially on a set. You hear everything. So I heard all of the stories that everyone else heard. And I witnessed just her attitude, and it shocked me. I was just like, damn, if this show runs for years and years and years, I'd be super surprised, because who puts up with that? And it didn't, and I know exactly why. Oh yeah. Yeah, she was ornery. And I was a part of another series, and the whole cast didn't like the show. None of them were Black but me. And because they would just complain, oh God, this and that, blah, 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 oh, blah, 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 blah. And then the show didn't go another year. And I just remember thinking like, y'all didn't want it to go another year. Like what you, and half of them never worked again. But it boggles the mind that when you get an opportunity, people really squander it in that way. Like you don't see what an opportunity this is, especially if you're the lead of a show or the face of a show. And I think, because I've seen it happen. I mean, I did a series for Showtime. And it was Barbershop, and it was a reboot of the series of the movie franchise. And I had Ice Cube's role. I was the big dog, and they told me, "Yo, this show gonna run forever." You know what I mean? Because it ain't about no ratings. We just go have some fun, have a good time. Anybody with you let us know they out of here. That type of shit. I could have went, okay, but I was raised a certain way to just respect everybody. Blah blah blah. I did actually have an issue on the set, which was crazy, and it was like the one of the hairstylists or something. And they were just fucking with me, just weird shit, just saying shit, da 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 da. And I was like, yeah, whatever. Let me focus on the lines. They're like, no, but you didn't hear about that. And I was like, oh my God, I finally had to say something like this motherfucker here. Like, can we get a different something? And they fired the whole department. I was like, oh shit. I said, would you fire the whole department, man? I was just saying this person, just have them deal with somebody else. Let me get a person. They're like, no, we'll get them out of here. And they wound up canceling the show. And I went, that was my only thing that I, kind of flex my power was I've never want anybody to lose a job or be fired, but they were bothering me and hindering me from doing my job. And that's different, But again, when people, you get an opportunity, you get your shot and it's your gig, and for you to just let that go to your head, they'll fix you quick. Smart Guy ended in a similar fashion where the lead very justifiably wanted more money because we were all being paid the same, which isn't fair, I don't think. I don't think it was right. It was called Smart Guy. Smart Guy should have got more money than everybody, but we were all getting paid the same. Was it a lot? No. It didn't even increase the way it should have. We all could have griped about it, but we understood the assignment, bro. Like, yeah, just let this thing run for 10 years. We'll be all right. Everybody gonna be good. It was enough money for us to, be good. It just wasn't what other people, man. And plus we were on a different network, WB. But he took his stand, sat out a show, and that was the last season we did. And I was just like, ooh. But I tell that story as a cautionary tale. You shouldn't have to be, because you're black, you got to know your place. It shouldn't be that. The problem is that is a fact. And a lot of us just understand that and we get along better. We get pulled over by the fucking cop. Shut up. Make it home. Because you don't know what type of cop this is. Not all cops is this and blah, blah, blah. But cops pull me over. I get nervous if I ain't did shit. I see the lights. It's, oh shit. Why is my heart beating so fucking fast? This might be it. I turned into a hello, yes, what? My voice changed and every fucking thing. My father lived differently. He was like, well, after your brother won that Oscar, I never got a ticket in my life. Oh, do you know who I am? And they would, oh, show me the money. But we have to live a certain, we got to, man. I'm raising two sons, man. They're mixed. I'm mixed, not as much as they're mixed, but I'm black. They are black. You know what I'm saying? Because I'm their father. And we're just now getting into that portion. Why can't he do it, but I can't do it? Because you're black, that's why. And you're my son, that's why you do it. Well, but he gets to do this. You try it, see what happens to you. No. And I've been fortunate because a lot of times my kids, I call them karma kids. You tell them, don't do that. You go, boom, it happens right away, But that's not how everything is. So you got to start planting the seeds, and it's scary, man. You got to, I think the first time my son came back the other day and he was like, I was called the N-word at school. I was like, excuse me? Like, you're 9. What did you do? I told him you can't say that. And then I told the teacher, and then they took him out and called his parents and da-da-da. And I was like, acceptable, that's cool. I mean, you did what you're supposed to do at 9. At 19, it may be a little different. But we'll get to that. And like, why, Dad? And we sat, we talked for like hours. I just kind of, I just gave him some more because he's a sponge. He's at the sponge age. And the youngest 6, Miles, was just looking like, yeah, that's cool. I'm going to play with this. And I was like, all right, you ear hustle for now. But I'm speaking to both of y'all because it's scary. You have to teach them a certain way, man. And it's the scarier thing is when you have people that say, oh, I don't look at them as black. They're just human. No. They have to know that they're black and that it is different for us and it always will be, because of our past. So you may have to know about our past. So you know what they're saying about you and how they really feel about you and how to really think about it. This all ties in everything we'll be talking about. And I appreciate this conversation, man, because, when I'm at home by myself watching these programs and seeing, and he called me the doctor early. It was funny. And I know him and I get it. That's his thing. And that's what you want to preach. And it makes sense. It makes sense to him. There are people that feel a certain way. And I understand. I may not agree, but I understand where they're coming from. When you tell a kid, don't do that, don't ever curse, don't ever have sex, don't ever da-da-da-da. You keep saying it so that they limit how much they actually do, because they're gonna do it. You can tell brothers don't date white women all the hell you want. Some will, some won't, whatever, bro. Whatever. You'll find out at the end of the day. Both me and my brother did it, and neither one of us are married to the bitch. Wait a minute, hold on. Can we edit that part out? I didn't mean that slipped out fast. You see how quick? Look at the camera. All I'm saying is, Different strokes for different folks. A lot of times too, you just take shit too serious, man. Life's too short. But there are things that you need to take serious. You know what I mean? And it's the fact that sometimes you got to think like the people around you think. You got to understand that if people are taking this too serious, keep scrolling in, go somewhere else. Sometimes it's jokes, but a lot of times we can talk, me and you, to talk as men and work things out. Because sometimes you think it, but you're like, do you feel the same way? And your head nods, okay, yes, we're on the same track. We need to have these dialogues, man. So again, I thank you for this platform.
Yes, indeed. That's what I'm here for, man. You already know you're welcome anytime. But I do want to backtrack to Thea. Did you see any friction between her and Brandy on set?
Yeah, body language and stuff, for the most part. But this woman, when I tell you, like, I don't just speak on, I heard this, I heard all, yes, I would hear verbal abuse, my name. And it was just like, I was just from the mind your business era. So it wasn't like, what's going on over there? Huh? You all right, Brandy? Like, knock it off. You hit, oh shit. And Brandy is very, the one that I met and that I knew, and I've had plenty of conversation, interaction with her. She's, I wouldn't say shy because she's an entertainer, but she's not the one to be like, what you say? That's just not her. So it's more browbeating. It's more, she yelled and she took it like, oh shit. And then her people had to stick up for her. And that's about all I'm gonna say about that, because again, the time I saw on the set, that stood out. That wasn't something like, let me think about it. Yeah, she was a little bit, no. Thea was a hot mess.
Respectfully, right? And I mean this with nothing but respect.
Uh-huh.
But when you look back at it, do you think the way she acted on Thea is the reason why her career didn't take off?
1000%. Disrespectfully. No. What? Absolutely. Like, but I'm hard on it because that's an opportunity that another black woman could have had. You got that opportunity and you fucked it up. I don't give a how she feel about it. There's someone else that wanted their own show and didn't get it, and now look at you. So no, you could have been nicer. It was a choice, man. Whatever she had going on in her personal life that allowed her to think that it was okay to treat and talk to people a certain way, she got what she deserved. I'm sorry. Now, I won't backpedal on this, bro. What bothers me about it is when you are tasked with being the head of something and you decide this, and there's many people that have jobs underneath you, you're saying all of them. You're letting all of them people down. What was it? Seinfeld seems like a decent enough fella, but for him to turn down all that damn money and then turn it down for all the cash, like, no, brother, just keep doing the show till you. It's not about the money anymore. No, you are the head of this ship. You can't just crash the car, man. And you got all these people in the back seat. That it don't work like that. Well, I did a play with a woman that walked out in the middle of the damn show, and we were like, what the f-? And we had to scramble and figure this out. And then she just comes traipsing back in. Sorry. You let us down, like, us is what you did. So no, I don't pull no punches when it comes to if you're just a coworker and we were able to get by without you, all right, fine. On some other shit, fine. But this is your show, and if they cancel it because they don't like you've all those people out of work.
I mean, doing that definitely affects a lot of people. But I do want to ask you. I heard that when y'all was on set of Ghost Dad, that Cuba Gooding Jr. he got kicked off set.
You know what's funniest about that story is that I know the story so I can tell it, but I don't remember the shit. Is that crazy? Bro, let's see. So I did a movie called Ghost Dad starring Bill Cosby. I remember meeting Mr. Cosby. I remember how cool he was. He was just as a human, he was dope as shit because I watched the Cosby Show. I've seen his old school movies. I've seen everything. And it was like, oh my God, this is Bill Cosby, bro. And hey, buddy. Oh shit. He wasn't, he was so fucking cool. And he knew how to work with kids. And he understood these are coworkers. Why not have them feel comfortable and be nice and relaxed and shit like that? You know what I mean? So he was cool as a motherfucking fan. Now the director was Sidney Poitier. And Sidney Poitier was wound a little tighter. I auditioned. I had a couple things. I'm gonna try to get through this faster because I know we got a lot of stuff to talk about. But Sidney Poitier, I auditioned for the movie, and I remember being in an audition room for like oh my God, 30 minutes, bro. He was, all right, now I want you to come from around the table. Now crawl. Now make yourself small. Now bigger. Yes. Now see it. Okay, one more time. Now this time, think of yourself. I mean, we were in there working, bro. And when we finished, I got home. I said, wow, when do I start? And they said, you did not get the part. And I remember telling my mom, like, damn, I don't believe I didn't get the part. I was in there working. She was like, really? You were in there for 45 minutes? 45 minutes. She's like, you know what I'm going to do? I'm going to call down to the casting day. I was like, you can do that? She's like, no, what they going to do? She's like, I just want some feedback. I'm just curious. And she called down to the casting agent, swear to hand to God. And she said, oh, I just, I wanted some information on, I think she said my client. She didn't say my son. She was smarter than her. So my client didn't get the part, what's his name? Omar Gooding. Yeah, was there any feedback you can tell us? And they put her on hold and they came back and they said, you know what? We're actually going to bring him in. We've changed it. We're going to bring him in for a screen test. And I said, what the f-? They said, yeah, just get that. And I went in for the screen test and I booked the damn thing. Now, mamas, don't you start doing that, calling me, well, baby didn't get the part. Can he get a screen test? But it worked, right? So dig this. I'm on set and my brother is, again, he's 9 years older than me. It was always his dream to be an actor. So he's taking classes and he's doing a little bit of this. At that time, he had done a lot of television. I believe he had done like 227 and Hill Street Blues, St. Elsewhere, all that type of stuff, MacGyver, all that. He's done a lot of little TV stuff. He hadn't done Boys in the Hood yet. And he walked over and was talking to me in between one of the breaks and was like, hey man, so look, you're doing good, but why don't you try? And all of a sudden, Sidney Poitier yells from across, who is that talking to my actors? Get off my set. Go, leave my set right now. And he was banished from the set and had to go sit in the trailer and wait for me to finish. Crazy as shit is, like I said, I don't remember this. The only reason I know the story is I was doing a documentary. People wanted to go, hey, we'll do a documentary for yourself. And I saw the footage, I haven't put it out yet. But anyway, and I interviewed my mom and I said, I'm gonna interview I'm gonna have Cuba be in it and see if he said he'll do an interview for me. And she goes, you should ask him about the time he got kicked off of Ghost Dad. I'm like, oh, mama getting old. He ain't get kicked off no set. He's like, ask him. So I'm like, I'm not even gonna ask him. And I said, hey man, you gonna do this interview for me for this documentary? He said, sure, I'll do an interview. He said, I should tell him about the time I got kicked off of Ghost Dad. And that's when I knew that the story was fucking real. But yeah, man, and the kind of cool thing, the full circle moment, of course, him winning the Oscar, and the next time he saw Sidney Poitier, things were a little different. You know what I mean? It was like they both holding Oscars, going, yeah, man, you a bad motherfucker. So God works how he works.
Yo, what's the backstory behind you and Dr. Dre's security guard? I heard y'all got into it, right?
Who told you? Who is it? Who is your source? Damn. Well, no one knows this story. So Dre, we cool now. You got too much money. All right, listen. This is what happened. This is crazy, bro. And it's such a weird story. I go ahead and tell it. It's fine. So listen, we were at a place called Larry Parker's back in the day. And this is wild. Larry Parker's was a 24-hour diner in Beverly Hills. So if you were 18, 19, not old enough to get into the clubs just yet, or didn't that, whatever, this is where we would hang out all fucking night. Or you would go to the club and then go here and hang out all night. I would bring dominoes and shit and sit out front and challenge niggas to play for money. Like this I would do this shit for, I don't know, for years. And one night we were in there and it was me, my homeboy. Now we're like 18, like that, 18, 19, something like that. And we had two girls with us. And we were talking and fucking Dr. Dre came in. Everybody, all the celebrities would come in. And he was there and he had, a couple bodyguards with him or whatever the case is. And I said some dumb shit. But the crazy thing is, it's packed. There's a bunch of people in here. But I leaned over and I said, what do you think Dr. Dre would think if I took this balled up piece of paper and threw it at him? And everyone laughed, or like this napkin, right? It was stupid, but it was funny to us. And we laughed. We looked over, we laughed. I looked back again and then they was staring right at us. And I was like, oh shit, he's looking at us. Isn't that crazy? And he stood up and sat on the booth and hunched over and was looking like this, like, what you little niggas laughing at? And I'm still like, this nigga getting crazy, right? And he started walking over. It was like, what's so funny over here? And I was like, is this thing serious? And his bodyguard was like, yeah, you don't laugh at men. We grown ass men. And went and reached and mushed me out the fucking little booth. And when he pushed me out the way, right, I grabbed like a chair or some shit. And before I turned around and I saw what happened, my homeboy stood up on the stool and was barking at this big ass security guard. My homeboy was skinny as shit, but he was like, you gonna do? Whoa, whoa, whoa. And he gangbanging, telling him I'm from this and that, and blah, 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 blah. And he barking at this security dude. And I think it just shocked him. And he just looked at him like, oh, you think you something because you taller than me? He said some weird shit. And then the security came in, the other people came in, Larry Parker himself walked over, and they kicked Dre out. We was like, yeah, leave. But it was so weird to me that they was fucking with us. We was just some little kids. And that was the end of the little incident. That was it. They drove out. Sure, Dre don't remember this shit. He probably, if he chance sees this, he'd be like, that shit never happened. It happened. Next time I saw Dre was about 6 years later. I had did Baby Boy. I did, me and Angel Conwell were romantically involved for about 4 years, right? And she had a new movie called The Wash. And that's my girl now. Now I was doing my thing. Before I met her, I had this girl, that girl, you know what I mean? And then we got together, it was like, all right, it's us. We gave it the old college try, right? So, you know, we talked to each other every day. I was full cupcake, handcuffed up. This is my bitch, like, you know what I mean? And she was bad, man. She was a video girl. So when she had to go work and do her thing, she dressed a certain way. I'm coming too. Where you going? That type shit. She's like, well, I got this job on The Wash. I'm doing this. Oh, congratulations, baby. Yeah, Dr. Dre is snooping everybody. I'm like, good shit. She said, yeah, we filming at a car wash. I'm like, makes sense. And she said, in the dressing room is a hotel right next to the car wash. I said, let me get my shit. When do we go? And, you know, I'll drive. You know what I'm saying? So I remember driving her and getting there, and I'm just chilling in the hotel room, you know, like, this okay, you know. All right, baby, I'm going to hair and makeup. All right, baby, bye. And she leaves and go boom, boom, and then a knock on the door. Boom, boom, boom. I open it up, it's Dre. I'm thinking to myself, you could like, you're like, oh, is Angel here? Like, nah, homie, she on set or something. I think she getting the mail. Oh, all right, cool. And he walked off. And I'm just thinking, full circle moment to me. I'm like, you ain't had no idea that it was me and then been 6 years ago. None of that shit, because we never talked about that. And I know the comedian Pierre, he always talk, I've seen him talk about this a couple times. Then I worked with him last year and he had me dying laughing like, your ass, everywhere she was, I was supposed to be her girlfriend in the movie. And every time I looked up, you was right there looking like Sweet Pea from Baby Boy. Looking, how many times y'all gonna do this take? Like, we didn't get to kiss, hug, or nothing. I said, I probably was a bit much. I was a bit much. I probably would have been cool if the nigga didn't show up at the door though. Like, come on now. But I'm gonna just show up on the first day, let these niggas know what it is, and then I see you when I see you, baby. But nah, the nigga knocking on the door like, nah, y'all could have talked about whatever you wanted to talk about on set, homeboy. But Dre cool as shit though, man. Cause I've been in his studios hell of times. I also do music. Shout out to Bernard Edwards Jr., aka Focus. If you know, you know. We did an album together. We do music. We still tight as shit till then. I know when Dre won that the beat settlement, when they gave me that $1 billion, I was in the studio that day. And I remember me and him was kind of just, yeah, it's Omar's here, that type of shit. Like, yeah, what's up, my nigga? Cool. But that day he signed that $1 billion, I said, hey man, congratulations on that $1 billion. Pick me up, tightest bear hug ever. Like, we was homeboys that grew up together. Nigga. I was like, nigga, unless you sharing the money, nigga, put me the fuck down. But that's a solid dude, man. You know, he's done a lot for the culture. He got some cool shit coming up too that I heard through the grapevine, but I let him tell it. Dr. Dre.
To go back to earlier, I want to talk about Smart Guy, right? I had Jason Weaver on the platform, and he was telling me how y'all had a hard time wearing what y'all wanted to wear on Smart Guy. Y'all had to get permission?
Yeah, well, yeah, when you're on TV too, you know, a lot of things we would wear like Nike and Reebok and stuff, and then we would cover up the swoosh and we would cover the signal. Like you couldn't wear certain things, you know, like the brands, they had to be cleared. But yeah, they were strict on that. It didn't want to be in a problem. We wore like a lot of cross colors. I think we were sponsored by like Carl Kanai at one point. I know we had a Reebok deal at one point. So it wasn't that big of an issue, but it was. That was a fact. Smart Guy, yeah, that was some fun shit right there, bro. From a standpoint of a role, that was one of those made for you roles. Like when I did Hanging with Mr. Cooper, I had to tailor Irvin Rodman to me. Like they just wrote just lines. Hey, Coop, what's up? I had to take it and go, hey, Coop, what's up. I had to put extras on it. I had to make it. I had to do this. Smart Guy was beautifully written. Every line was, we'd laugh. The table reads were hysterical. And then we get up there. Well, they didn't even have to do many rewrites, but they would. But they would just punch up jokes and it would just be like the originals. Hood Safari and all this stuff. Oh, man. It was the people that were on there. I forgot how many people were on there. But I see episodes now myself and be like, oh, shit. Destiny Child. Oh, my God. I couldn't believe we had Destiny Child on there. When it was all the children. It was the full 4 childs, and they was. I remember, one thing I say about Destiny Child was kind of fun is, it was work. You know what I mean? We're always real professional. I'm always professional. And people are like, oh, did you get? The only time I got with somebody again was when the Baby Boy and me and Angel, but we kind of had a history before him anyway. But with Destiny Child was crazy because they were just like, yeah, y'all should come to our performance. And y'all can see the real Destiny Child. We like, oh, what you mean the real Destiny Child? Like, like, what is that? Your daddy ain't gonna be there? Like, then we saw footage after, but we didn't go. We were supposed to go to the Greek theater. Who knows? Things could have been different. Things could have been a lot different, is all I'm saying. You never, Jay-Z, listen, it could have been a lot different, bruh. No. But we didn't get to see them live in concert. And it's kind of funny because I noticed that, like, when I did Hang with Mr. Cooper, when I saw Mark Curry live do his stand-up, it was a whole different beast. He's so funny. Even now, his timing, his storytelling, the things he can talk about on stage. It's Mr. Cooper was just a fraction of him. You know what I mean? And even with Destiny's Child, them on there, I was like, oh, that was cute. And it was this wholesome, blah, blah, blah. And they get on stage and they were like, oh shit, wait a minute, this is something else, And I respect the hell out of that. That's why it so blows my mind that I do stand-up now, because that's something I never thought I would do. Sorry, I went all over the place there, yeah. We talk about clothes.
I can only imagine how fun it was being on Smart Guy set. I know that had to be insane.
Woo. It was awesome. And then, me and Jason were really close. He was younger than me, so I always felt like he was my little brother. And I took him under my wing, and my boys became part of my crew. You know what I mean? So he's talk about Cuzzo and Nash and Measy and Wayne and all that. Wayne was his cousin, Bruce Wayne, and B-Dub. We still do music to this day. And Focus. We was a clique, man. We'd go to Vegas every weekend, man. We was every weekend. We'd come off right to the set, coming off the 15 freeway. Like, okay, we got to get on, we get to get up, man. 2 hours, 1 hour nap, and then get after it. But it was just such a fun show. And then we were at that age too. He was a little younger, so he was old enough to go to Vegas. That was about it. I was 21, 22, 23. Yeah, because then in 24, I did Baby Boy. But, oh my God, it was a good time. Second apartment. Got an apartment right across the street. I was late every day to work. Every day. Never never live right next to your job. For some reason, you get later. That was me. Smart guy about shit.
Yo, I had no idea that one of the reasons why Smart Guy ended is because he wasn't getting paid, right?
Yeah, no, that's what I talked about earlier. It's just they should have paid him more because he was the lead. It's just that simple. But here's what the thing is. This is where it got mad, and I'm sorry if I put it on him. It's not his fault that the show got canceled directly. He was right. But it's what they did and how they did it. But you just got to know. Sometimes you got to bite that bullet, and it sucks. It's not compromising. Oh, you just said you got to. No. We agreed to do the show, and we all knew we'd all get paid the same thing. But why would we care? You know what I mean? It's tough. When you're the lead, there's responsibility. You have to have lawyers that get your contract situated a certain way. But he agreed. And we said they always say this, after the first year, if it's a hit, then everybody gonna get paid. That's what they always say, no matter what the show is. And we had the same contract for 3 years, bro. And it was like, you sign a contract, you do year 1. Then it becomes a hit because you got picked up. Now you do year 2, and it's a hit. So you get picked up for 3. And now halfway through season 3, you're like, this. It's like, no, you can't be halfway through. You got to say this before the season starts, bro, because I think the issue with what he did, which is, his hands were tied, and he probably figured, what else can I do? I'm just not show up for work. How about that? No, man, you're disrupting too much shit. No. Make your stand before the season starts. then there may be time to negotiate, so forth and so on, blah, blah, blah. But if the season's already going and you decide, now you're fucking shit up, bro. You know what I mean? Now you're causing problems that could have been avoided. So they're like, well, how about we just cancel your show? And it's like, and it was weird because when it happened in real time, it was like, all right, here's the script for next week. Cool. Taj is not going to be here. What do you mean? No, there's no Taj. So we're probably going to be heavier on like Marcus and Mo storyline. No Taj, huh? Was he sick? Is something going on? You know, where's that? No, he's sitting out because of money issues and contract. What the? Okay, show must go on. All right, so you said more lines for us, and what are we going to do? Oh, we should all stuck together. Everybody sit out. No. Because we didn't feel the same way. Sure, was it unfair, but also goes back to what I was saying earlier, bro. Like, we're on the WB network. We're a black sitcom, one of the last. You're fortunate. You're at where you're at. Now, take what I give you, but at the same time, kinda. You know, there's other opportunities here, but this one here, and we love the job. We would never want to sit out. We loved that show. All of us did. Obviously, you know, Taj had his issues, but you know, I think you make your demands, you make yourself known, but then you show up to work, bro. You got to do your job. You're paid. You agreed. Yeah, but the numbers are different, and I feel this. All right, we hear you. Now go do your fucking job. No. Okay. No more job. That's simple.
How was it like being on Smart Guy back in the 90s? Before social media, anybody that knew about y'all, they knew about y'all by watching y'all on TV. I know that had to be crazy. Like, how was the women like, yo? Y'all was getting a lot of females, yo?
Oh, through the roof. Good time to be single. Oh, yeah. Smart Guy was the shit. Let me see. I'm just making sure I'm not talking shit about, did I have a girlfriend during Smart Guy? No, I was single as a dollar bill through Smart Guy. I was having my fun. It was, now, here's the thing, in all honesty, the show was on the WB network for 3 years. Some people go, what the fuck is the WB network? You understand what I'm saying? Then it got picked up by Disney after. It became a hit. The real hit was when everybody saw it. Disney is way bigger than Smart Guy. Smart Guy, than the WB. So even now, I'd signed an autograph with a girl. She was 12 years old. I was in a Popeyes in Atlanta. And boy, that was black as hell. Well, you don't get no blacker than that. I was at a Popeyes in Atlanta. That was for the doctor. There you go, Umar. I was at the Popeyes. And a little girl walked up and she was just like, oh, can I get your autograph? I was like, yeah, you don't even know who I am. She's like, my daddy, we watch Smart Guy all the time. I'm like, on what? She said, Disney Plus. I said, go ahead, Disney Plus. So anyway, so it stood the test of time because of the platform that it got pushed onto. It's like Baby Boy. They were like, oh man, I bet Baby Boy was crazy. It didn't do numbers in the box office. Barely did anything. People were scared to go see those movies back then. Boys in the Hood, people were getting shot. Menace Society, people were getting shot in the theater. Gangbangers was going to see that movie. Baby Boy, they were scared, so it was in limited theaters. And in the theaters it was in, there was some incidents. You know what I mean? So Baby Boy didn't become a hit. It became a cult classic because of BET, VH1. You know, the overdubs, when the Mexican dude did my overdubs and shit because I was out of the country. You know what I mean? That's when Baby Boy blew up. Smart Guy, same thing. When it went to Disney, now everybody's seeing it. But we'd all moved on, you know. But at the time, WB had a bunch of hit shows on there. So if you were watching TV, that was when people watched TV. You know, people say, oh man, people getting autographs. I don't know who are you? Oh, I do a lot of television. Oh, well, what were you in? Oh, I was in this, I was in that. Oh, I don't watch TV. Like, why you asked then? Why you know, and that's that. But back then, people watched TV. People watched commercials. People, you know what I mean? Now we fast forward and, you know what I mean? We're streaming. We can just watch when we watch and then move on. So it was different. But yeah, man, back to your original. Yeah, man, I'm in memory lane, man. I'm getting sidetracked thinking about it. Yeah, it was good times. It was real good times.
Yeah, I can only imagine. But I gotta ask you, since the movie is a hot topic, have you ever met Michael Jackson?
I met, this is fun. I met Michael Jackson at the grand opening. No, I'm sorry. Let me rephrase this perfectly correct. I was in the presence of Michael Jackson one time that I remember. And it was at the grand opening of the Magic Johnson Theaters on Crenshaw. And to put in perspective, Michael fucking Jackson. It was 95. So I was doing Hang with Mr. Cooper at the time, I believe. I hadn't started Smart Guy. Yep. Just graduated high school. Everybody was already there. There go Magic Johnson. Jordan, whoop-de-whoop, blah, blah, all these athletes and this and that, blah, blah, blah. And then all of a sudden, the army arrives. Rifles, soldiers, they're marching in and we like, the fuck we at war? What's going on? And they line up and form a whole 2 lanes of just marshal. And all of a sudden, Michael Jackson walks through the middle. And it was like, you don't know how you gonna react when you see Michael Jackson till you see Michael Jackson. You understand what I'm saying? I'm a celebrity. There's celebrities there. I done met just about everybody that I give a damn about. And Michael Jackson walked through and you feel like holy shit. You wanna go, ah! You know what I mean? And it wasn't the time everybody you got footage and cameras like that. You just do this. And like, holy shit, it's Michael fucking Jackson. He didn't shake hands with nobody. He got escorted right into the theater next to Magic Johnson. They took a bunch of pictures and then they marched his ass right to the guy. Michael Jackson.
Jerry Maguire, you was around when that movie was being shot, right?
Hell yeah. Jerry Maguire was dope because it was a couple things. He knew the gravity of the situation. Once he told me about it, the first thing he told me about it was, here's the walk that I developed for this new character for this movie I'm doing. And I'm like, the what? He said, the walk. This is how I'm going to walk. And he walked around the pool and shit, kept strutting and shit. And I was just like, cool. I don't think it really hit me then how bad he was and how dope he was, how motherfucking, that attention to detail. You got a character and you're trying to figure out how he's going to walk. I'm like, does he have a limp or something? He's like, nah, this is Tidwell. This is Rod. You know, this is how I was, okay, good luck, you know. Then we went on set. I remember going on set and my dad was there. And my dad, Tom Cruise walks up, you know, he's like, that's my family, man. It's my little brother, that's my dad. And my dad leaned over was like, man, Tom Cruise, I'm glad you're not gay. Because with everything that I've seen, I'm like, all right, and they're leaving. Thanks for them coming in. And we all got shown the door, just like they threw him off of the set of Ghost Dad. But here's the really crazy thing about Jerry Maguire, the movie itself. Again, I was an actor at the time. So I remember going to the red carpet and I was doing my thing. Red carpet, I just got off of, what was that? Anyway, I did something I remember. So I had a lot of stuff to promote and I was talking and this and that, and we get ready and we go in and we sit down and my brother never watches himself. I don't know what it is about it, but he doesn't like to watch himself. So we all sat down on the road to family, mom, pop, everybody. He got up, all right, see you later. I'm like, the hell? And we watched the movie and I remember going, it was cool. I wasn't blown away. Oh my God, he's gonna get an Oscar. I was just like, whatever. It was cool, but I'm an actor. I'm in the shit. I wasn't hating. I just was just like, whatever. So I went home, and I think it wasn't until, obviously, when he won an Oscar, that's when I knew. I said, wait a minute. When he got nominated, I was already like, holy shit, but I didn't think he was gonna win. And the reason why I didn't think he was gonna win, well, mainly because they weren't giving out Oscars to black folk like that back then. That's the main reason. The other reason was he was up against Ed Norton, who played in a movie called Primal Fear. And when I watched that movie, it was one of those, the ending was like Sixth Sense. Remember when Sixth Sense hit the first time you watched Sixth Sense? It was like, oh, he was dead. Like, you know what I mean? That's how that ending was, but Ed Norton style. And I said, he's up against him? And then they always had a pattern. And it's still to this day. If you win the Golden Globe, you win the Oscar. It's like 90%. And Ed Norton won the Golden Globe. And my brother, when they sent a camera crew to my house, that was crazy. I had a watch party. They didn't even know that. I think they contacted me to ask if I'm going to the Oscars. I'm like, nah, my mom and my brother, my mom and dad, and I think he got like about 4 tickets. But I'm not going to the Oscars. No, I'm going to watch it at home. And they said, oh, great. We would like to send a camera crew to film your reaction to when they announced the winner. And I was like, that's awkward. What if you don't win? Get the fuck out, you know? They're like, we just have a feeling he's gonna win. So is it okay if I was like, sure. And they set up and we set up, we watched the whole thing. And I tell you, as I'm listening to it, and the winner is, all I remember hearing was cute. That's it. That's it. Then it was pandemonium. I flipped out. I couldn't believe it. I couldn't believe it. But then I watched the movie again at home. And when I watched the movie without all the lights and glamour and this red carpet and all this shit, and ooh, that same cinema, and I got to just watch it because I'm a fan of my craft. I love to watch it. And I watched the movie, bro. When he got to the part where he said, I'm not gonna cry, And they said, you got 10 million. And he was like, bro, my eyes was streaming. I was like, yo. I said, this movie was this. What? Because he made you feel that is the American dream. That is the African American dream. You know what I mean? To get that, he did it. He saved his family. He saved his career. Oh, it was so heavy. It was so dope. And it was so pure, man. And it was a feel-good movie. How many Oscars do we win? I heard a comedian telling shit about the Oscars that we win. And it was very funny set. And he's like, think about it. I'm not going to do his jokes. But everything that we've won Oscars for, you'd be like, damn, that's what we got to do to win an Oscar. And this was a feel-good movie, man. So I was so proud of him. And it's also one of those things that happened to Denzel, who's my absolute 100% favorite of all times, mainly because he's never let me down. And it's not that my brother's let me down, but my brother's done stuff, again, I've seen 90% of the stuff, I'm like, damn, he a bad motherfucker. And then I see him do some stuff and I was like, oof, well, whatever. But that's never happened with Denzel. Denzel, I just, man, if he's in the movie, he's that guy and he's good. But they put him through the ringer the same way. He had to get what was it? Well, it was supporting, right? For Glory, which was a movie of all movies. And then he had to, he went through the Malcolm X's and all these great movies that he's gonna win it for the damn, no? And then they finally gave it to him for Training Day, which was also phenomenal. That was also another movie for me I had to watch a couple times too. No bullshit. Because first time I watched it, I was just kind of like, yeah, Denzel's a bad motherfucker. Then you watch it again and you be like, wait a minute. As an actor, woo, you almost think that he was a criminal. Like you, like Denzel, you used to be, you really with the shit. Talk about you like to get wet. He do that shit. But he's like and he does plays still does. Oh man, that's a bad motherfucker. You even ask me about Denzel. I'll just do that for free.
You auditioned for Jerry Maguire, right?
I did audition for Jerry Maguire to play his brother. You know what's funny? I mean, this is just to answer the question. A lot of people are like, damn, you and your brother never worked together. Why? Ask him. No. I think sometimes it's just out of your hands. Like, And in this instance, I auditioned for Jerry Maguire to play his brother. And no knock on Ari Spears. Hey, cool, brother. Good. Congratulations. You did your thing. But it wasn't the type of role that moved the needle. The performance was cool. You know what I mean? Now, again, not to knock Ari Spears, but I mean, the role itself was, you're just a brother. You hate on him a little bit, like, yeah, he ain't this, he ain't that, but there was nothing. So I'm saying all that to say, it wasn't like I didn't do a good enough job. So it made me go, interesting. Why didn't I get the role? And the word, I had some good agents because they were this is what they told me. Because the thing about agents, sometimes if you make a mistake, hey man, you were late. God damn it, why? Oh, well, that's what they said. They said you weren't professional, or you didn't know the lines. What happened? They'll give you the feedback that you need to hear, or they'll tell you, you know what, it wasn't you. They just went a different direction. And in this, they told me the director and some other person had made the decision. They didn't want it to look like favoritism, like they just gave you the role because you're his brother. And I'm like, I can understand that. Is it the truth? Who knows? But it worked for me. I actually also auditioned to be in O.J. Simpson. I auditioned to play A.J. Cowling, the one that drove the Bronco. And the feedback from that was similar. They said, we loved your audition, bro, but you look just like your brother side by side. And I think that would have confused people watching this shit, like, he ain't supposed to be brothers in this. You know what I mean? So that was their deciding factor in me. So, I wrote some stuff and I talked to my brother a couple times, like, yeah, man, we got to do some shit. We got to play related at least. We can't be side by side talking about, I don't know you. And the only thing that we actually did on camera, we played ourselves in some shit called Big Time in Hollywood, Florida. Disney made me take it down because it was a little explicit. But I'll probably post it again so y'all can see it. But it's out of there. It's out of there.
If I'm not mistaken, your dad, he made a comment to Tom Cruise on set, right? A wild comment?
Yeah. My dad didn't have no filter. My dad did not have a filter. He was, gotta love him because of that. And after he passed, I became more like him. And it's just never missed a moment. You know what I mean? Like, you just never know. Like, it's like, that's how I feel so strongly about signing autographs and being gracious and taking a picture. It's not that long. It doesn't take that long to be kind to somebody that may never see you again. They may never get this opportunity again. Take full advantage. Let's do it. I get it. I understand how people think. My dad, yeah, his non-filtered to tell Tom Cruise something like, I didn't think you was, or I'm glad to know you're not gay. That could have went in so many different ways. Like, how do you know? No. But he thought he was giving him a compliment. Like, you would look like a very manly man. Like, you're from a different era, Dad. That is offensive on so many levels, you know. And then we got kicked off the set because of that. I'm like, I wanted to get a picture. We can't even get a picture because you saying crazy shit out the side of your face. But yeah, my dad was a shit.
And speaking of Aries spirits, what was the incident both of y'all had? Y'all had a run-in, right?
Well, yeah, I'll talk about this again. This is what happened. It kind of ties into the era with it was that at Larry Parker's too? Damn, it was at Larry Parker's. How weird is that? All right, anyway. So way after the Dre incident. So grown-ass man at this point. We were still going to Larry Parker still. And we was out front being very African-American. Let me tell you something. We was, no. We ain't the only race to shoot craps, but that's what we was doing. We was shooting dice, and I walked away from the dice game, and I got confronted by two guys that were trying to tell me that I should leave this actor alone that I didn't know I had beef with. The actor, don't deserve his name mentioned because him, but what he did, what I could piece together is that he was like, oh yeah, Omar, blah, 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 blah. And they're like, we'll talk to him. And they approached me and I was just like, what? And they were like, yeah, you need to leave him alone and woo, 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 and that ain't what you want and this and that. And I was like, what the fuck is y'all niggas talking about, right? However, you wanted this, now you got this, what y'all want to do. And now, because they were shorter than me, which it's comical now looking back at it, because it was like these two guys with this old school with the leather collars, like, yeah. And it was from New York, which just made it crazy. Because they were just like, nah, son, this ain't this, nah. I'm like, what are you gnawing about, little niggas? Like, do something. And I went from thinking it was a joke to getting offended. And now I'm like, all right. And I know my niggas is around the corner. They there somewhere, but they didn't see what was going on because it wasn't loud. It was just us going, what? And then out of nowhere, Yuck Mouth walks up. I've met Yuck Mouth a couple times. And he was like, yo, what's up, my nigga? Now, to me, if you can read the room, you see I'm having a altercation with two gentlemen. But it was oblivious. So he tried to just blow past, like, hey, man, but I was like, man, fuck off. Which is almost exactly what I said to him. And he said, what? Fuck off, you. I was just trying to say, what's up, motherfucker? You kidding me? So now I got these two motherfuckers pressing me about one thing. This nigga now just walked up on some shit. And me and Yuck Mouth just squashed. We done talked about this and that. But now me and him get into it. The other two niggas go, yeah, see, and then walk off. So now I turn to Yuck Mouth. I'm like, what's wrong with you? I'm trying to explain it. He's like, nah, that. We taking jackets off. Like, what's up there? What's happening? Like, I'm gonna fight somebody at this point. Now my niggas have seen what I'm doing. They done come around the corner and they like, oh man, what's up? Now they jump in. It became this whole big ass scene, but I'm the type of dude that I'm cool until I'm not. Now I'm mad. I was almost kind of cool, but then I'm like, no, fuck that. Now my engine's revving. And Spears walked up. He don't remember this, but I'll never forget it. And he was just being cool. And he said, oh, you got a lot to lose and da. Everybody, including the bouncers and the security there, said I was in the wrong because I'm this big dude that everybody there, everybody included, was smaller than me. So they thought I was just out here going crazy and I was drunk and going off on this. And he was like, yo, calm down. I'm like, man, fuck off. I remember I told Aries, I wasn't disrespectful to him, but I just told him like, yeah, whatever. But I'll never forget this. I've been thinking to myself, you don't even know me, but you want to try to tell me what I should do and this and that. But that's what he's supposed to do. You see a fellow actor going out of, his mind and his opinion. Hey man, chill out, bro. You got a lot to lose. You shouldn't be doing all that. And I was like, yeah, whatever. And then I went to yelling some more. Now, after that, I did a podcast and somebody asked me about Aries Spears. I was in comedy joke mode. I was drinking all this shit. And I was like, that clown, da. Like, what the I don't know why. I just started talking shit. But it was also during the beef that I had with Cameron, the beef. And we were talking about that. and then they were talking about doing celebrity boxing, and I was like, yeah, I'd punch him, and I'd punch him, and I'd do this, and I was just talking. And then I said something about, and then they brought up the Aries Spears thing, and he said something, and I was like, oh, f him, because I think he had mentioned something about Ice Cube. It's just a whole lot of name dropping for no reason. I was just talking. Honestly, I don't do a whole lot. That's why I stopped drinking when I do interviews. But I was just talking a whole lot of shit, and I thought it was funny till I saw them play it back. Now, here's the thing: I never saw. A lot of time I don't watch my interviews. So one day I get a call, I get a DM from Aries Spears going the f off, and I was like, "The f wrong with you?" But I just reacted right away. He was just like, "The f you don't know me to tell me me and you would do this and do that. I don't even know you, and you lie. We never met you." And I was like, "Well, f you then." So I'm going back and forth on him. You don't know me. You gonna know me and all this shit. And I'm like, what the f was that? And then I went and clicked on the link and I saw the interview or where I was talking, and they took it and they chopped it up. And it was like, I think what I said, something like, I would, whatever it is, they cut it to make it do that. Kim, he's a clown. Like, what? I was like, that's not what I said. I meant it like this. And obviously, if you see the whole interview, I was talking about boxing and I was trying to be funny, but I was too drunk and aggressive for it to sound funny. So after looking at that, if I was him, I'd have did the same shit. So as a man, respectfully, I hit him up and I said, bro, I'm gonna be honest with you. I didn't know what the f you was talking about. I watched it. As a man, I could tell you, I apologize. They took it out of context, but it still shouldn't be said because I really don't know you. And he said, respect, because I was confused as why the f you would speak on me and we don't know each other. And I said, you are correct. I said, now if you won't, no one has seen this shit because it was some small ass little thing in Kim. He watching this. What you mean small? Shout me out. Your platform. No, his little thing, he took it and was trying to get clickbait and flipped that shit and made it look even crazier. So I said, I will call that motherfucker and make him take it down, which I did. And he took it down. And I said, we'll do another interview, motherfucker. I'm going to clean this shit up. Because I ain't going to just have two black men beefing just because I felt like saying some shit. You twisted it even more so. And now they're really mad at me. And I just went with the energy. So I told her all the way. And I said, no, I'm a grown ass man. I can admit when I was wrong. I did say some shit a little crazy. But if you see the whole thing, blah, blah, blah. He's like, yeah, but that's not how we live. That's not. I said, you're right. Like I said, my bad. And he said, you good, we good. And we squashed it like men. And that was that. So, but yeah, you got to be careful. There's a lot of shit I've said in the last couple hours. If you chop it up the wrong way, I know my phone will be ringing.
What was some of the shows you auditioned for? Like, why wasn't you on Fresh Prince of Martin?
For all of that, I was already on a show. So you got to just look at it went, my shit was consistent back to back. When I was like, I started when I was 9. I did like Webster and even Ghost Dad and all that. Then I booked a series called Wild and Crazy Kids from 12 years old to 15 years old. 15 years old, I booked Hang with Mr. Cooper. For 5 years, from 15 years old to 20 years old, I was on Hang with Mr. Cooper. I was a series regular, but I was 7 out of 13 episodes for the first 3 seasons. Then I was in every episode for the last 2 seasons. Right when that ended, Danny Kalis started Smart Guy. And I started Smart Guy from age 21 to 23. After 23, 124, I got the call from John Singleton, did Baby Boy. By then, all the shows you just mentioned were already finished. So, you know what I mean? So I was working through all that shit.
Out of curiosity, when you was on Hanging with Mr. Cooper and Smart Guy, who was some of the other shows that was on y'all lot?
Oh, you mean like on the lots? Yeah, so the cool thing when we did, so Hanging with Mr. Cooper was on the WB lot. And that was part of the TGI lineup. TGIF, Thank God It's Friday, the lineup. So they had Full House was there. Family Matters was right next door. So we were stage 9 and they were 10. It was like that close. And we was all cool. Everybody, Darius McCrary, Jaleel, all of them. And we would support each other. We'd walk back and forth. We'd see them. Sometimes we'd be on their shit fumbling and they come check us out. I'm surprised we never did like a crossover episode with them, which is crazy. But yeah, no, they were all there. That whole TGI Friday lineup was on there. And then with Smart Guy, that was on the Disney lot. Yeah, it was, even though it was, because Hang with Mr. Cooper was Channel 7. So that was the ABC network, right? That was all on that TGI Friday. Smart Guy was on the WB network, but it was a Disney series. That's why when Disney picked it up, it was great. Well, it was on a Disney lot. I shouldn't say a Disney series. It was on the Disney lot that we filmed that. Yeah, and I can't remember the other shows that were on there, but there was a lot of shows going on during that time. It was a fun time. It was a fun time. That was when the black sitcom was it, man. 90s, baby.
Any stories, yo? Y'all being on the same lot as Family Matters?
Yeah, not really. I mean, most of the time we'd hang out and we just go get it in and have fun. Like, especially Darius, that's my boy, man. We did a lot of hanging. And I'll tell you, we was always going to Vegas. Now that time, let's see, I was 15 to 19. Yeah, no, so I'm still going to high school, 15 all the way to 17, 18. And then the last 2 years, we were on there. I still wasn't old enough to go to Vegas. But we was hanging out. Not real crazy, man. It was, we were relatively good. You know what I mean? It was not a whole lot of sneaking girls in and this and that and freaky shit. Not then. That didn't happen until Smart Guy. Smart Guy was when it went down, as you alluded to. I mean, we were grown. You know what I'm saying? 21 to 23, 24, you grown ass man now. You give it 15, 17, you still had your mama on set and shit. Mama wasn't on set, then Smart Guy. She was there for hanging with Mr. Cooper.
How was the residuals for them shows?
They're good. I mean, with Smart Guy, they're good because, like I said, they got picked up. If it never went to Disney and Disney Plus, then they would have been decent. But, they freeze at a certain number. Now you can get anything. So with Smart Guy, we still get checks and be like, oh, shit, nice. And then you get somebody like, why'd you even print the paper on this? Hang with Mr. Cooper, yeah, you'll see some. Now, again, I wasn't on every episode. So out of the 101 episodes, I probably did like 60 or 70 of them. You know what I mean? So yeah, I still get checks from them, but they're not huge. They ain't a couple $100. They freeze at that after a while. But for a while, they was coming in. Woo, 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 Mr. Pike.
How you feel about Cat Williams when he did that interview with Shannon Sharp? He made a comment about how the Steve Harvey show, they took their concept from hanging with Mr. Cooper. You believe that?
Yeah, you know what? I heard that. Those are the type of statements you look at it afterwards and go, damn, if you think about it, yeah. I don't know what goes on in these rooms when they pattern shows after this. So they go, well, that was successful. Let's do that. Hang with Mr. Cooper. There was another show. You know what's kind of funny though, now that you said that? I've had people say, oh, you were on Steve Harvey, weren't you? You know what? That is fucking hilarious. I'm serious. This just came to me. But yes, a lot of people, when they say, man, you were on Steve Harvey's show. And I go, no, I was on Hanging with Mr. Cooper. Like, oh, that's right. The other, you know what I mean? So people confuse it all the time. So there's something there. As far as did he steal the idea? I don't know. People aren't very original, bro. And as you see by all the remakes, it's like, damn, I got a lot of fucking ideas. We come up with some brand new shit every fucking day. Give us a shot. So now what's dope is all these new streaming platforms and stuff now, we're cutting it. We're doing it ourselves, which is great. I did a series called Funny AF that's on Tubi. And then all of a sudden, there's a Funny AF on Netflix. We'll talk about it later. No. But it's not like, I think, honestly, too, and it's funny, this is a lesson my brother told me a long time ago. I was like, yo, man, I got this idea, and it's about two guys. He's like, stop. I'm like, what? He's like, don't tell me. I'm like, why? He's like, because I don't want to accidentally steal your idea. I'm like, how do you accidentally steal an idea, bro? He's like, because I could be at the bar talking about something. We have a conversation. We stop talking about it. Years pass. All of a sudden, I'm trying to come up with an idea, and your thought comes in mind, and I think it's mine. I don't remember this conversation we had, but that idea is planted in the seat. So you never share your ideas with people. Just say, I got an idea for a show. Oh yeah, what's it about? It's about a couple guys and whatever, but I'm not gonna get into full detail with it. You know what I mean? Even ideas, I'll caution people to not get too excited. I got the greatest idea, let me tell you about it. It's about, stop. Write it down, get it copywritten, and then let's talk about it. Or don't. Or let's work on having a relationship where we're developing this together. Now, if we're co-writers, you want to work. Now, tell me your idea. We'll work about it. We'll get it copywritten, patented, registered, and all that shit. And now we can go to work on it. But yeah, he told me that shit a long time ago, and it's a very valid point. So, it could just have been, he's just like, this is what I wanted to do. Like, you're Steve Harvey. You're a very funny comedian. Kings of Comedy was great. It's time for your show or whatever. I don't know what the timeline was. I'm pretty sure that came before that. And it was like, what do you want to do? I was like, oh, how about this? How about that? They probably went through the, storyboard, blah, blah. So if Cat Williams has a beef with him, and it's easy to say, he stole his whole shit. He steals everybody's shit. Maybe he stole some shit, but who knows? I think it's a stretch because I just don't know. So, like I said, I can only give my opinion. But like I said a little earlier, yeah, it is kind of interesting that a lot of people said they mistake the show. They mistake the two. They were like, yeah, you were on Steve Harvey's show. I said, never, not a day, not a day. But I was on Hang with Mr. Cooper.
Let me ask you, right? Because I know when I interviewed Jason Weaver, I asked him the same thing, and I want to ask you, to go back, right? Back in the '90s, I know that had to be crazy, back in the '90s, being in LA. How did you avoid drama back then?
Well, this is the thing. It's an important point that you say in the 90s. I mean, there was a lot of things that we were able to avoid, like social media. There were altercations that we've been in, some that I've talked about, some that I won't, some that I hinted at. I didn't hang around with a lot of celebrities. I hung around with celebrities that were like-minded individuals, cut from the same cloth, street smart, could fight. And most of them were probably either in a gang or affiliated. And it gives you a level of safeness. If we're all working towards the same goal, we understand that we have something to lose and to protect. I'm an alpha, but at the same time, I had a crew around me and Jason and Merlin and this and the blah, blah. Merlin said, that I'm gonna take the gun, I'm gonna be that guy. But we all knew, when we went out, this is our bread and butter with respect to the guys around us. And we took care of them. We did. It only made sense to me. If I'm making all this fucking money, why are these niggas pulling their wallets out when it's time to pay the tab and the drinks and shit like that? No. Why? Save your fucking money. You know what I mean? There may be a time you need that later. Don't be like, oh, damn, I'm trying to keep up with y'all and went broke. Don't do that shit. You know what I'm saying? I ain't gonna give you no money, but I'll pay for the tab. You know what I'm saying? Or I'll put you on the payroll and you can earn the shit, type shit. But those are the people that were around us. Now you got these kids running around and they see their bread and butter doing some goofy shit. They want to get a camera video of it. Like, look at this nigga tripping, and then sell it to TMZ to get that quick bag. And now you done f***ed off the real bag. So that just baffles me, man. But it was easier. It made sense to me then to surround myself with people that had our best interests at heart. And that's what we did. So our circle was small. We all had our own friends and different, but when it came to being out in public, we rolled together. You move kind of like the mafia. You stick with your own, and then you move, and you don't just go off on your own little tangents and this and that. Blah, 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 blah. Shit happens if you got to go slide off and see a shorty, whatever, get a female, whatever, that type of shit. But for the most part, we traveled together. We was always together. Y'all ready? What time we meet? Meet up at the crib. We all rolling out, and that was the best way to keep each other safe. And it worked, man. Even when it got dicey, and it got dicey. It got a little crazy, you know what I'm saying? I was arrested. I was all over the news for 24 hours, and I had to save Mark Curry had to save my career, with the Hang with Mr. Cooper shit, because I got caught with guns and pistols and all this shit. I wasn't shooting and going crazy, but I had them on me, got caught, and I had to come and show up hat in hand and apologize. And Mark Curry was such a mentor. He called me over to the house before we started filming, and he sat me down and said, bro, they're about to fire your ass. You about to be donezo. This is what you need to do. Go in there on the first day and own up to what you did and assure them it'll never happen again. And if he didn't say that, I would have showed up and put my head down, read my lines, and went to home. That would have been that. Then I would have got that phone call. Don't worry about coming back next week, But because he said that, I was like, oh, that's what I got to do? Cool. And I wasn't nervous about it. I just said, let's do it. And right before we got started, all right, we're about to start to read. I said, real quick, before we get started, can I say something? And they was like, and then I spoke from the heart. And they got up. Everybody stood in line to hug me, And I was just like, wow, okay, cool. It's good to know they have your back, but they ain't just going to give it to you. You know what I mean? Plus, they don't know where my head was at. They don't know the story. I did my work and I went home. So they don't know. Next thing you know, I'm in jail or I'm in handcuffs. Oh, we got a weirdo. We got to get him out of here. No, I got to say, this is not me. And anybody has any questions, I will tell you. This is what happened. I wasn't shooting. I'm not a goofball. I just like guns. It was the fetish. I had 3 of them, 4 or 5 of them in the car, and it was all mine, and 4 people in the car. So it's like everybody got a gun. Hey man, there's one under your seat. Everybody need one right there. Like in case what? What are you doing? But anyway, but yeah, that's how we avoided it, man. And we didn't have. Again, you those are the decisions. That's all about decision making. Who is it you gonna hang out with? Later on in my career, like with the Baby Boy set was different because I didn't fuck with everybody on the set. They weren't my type of pick. Not everybody. Taraji was cool as shit. Snoop was cool as shit. A couple of people were cool as shit. Me and Tyrese, we were different type of dudes. He didn't smoke, didn't drink. We're done there. That's 2 strikes. What we gonna do, bro? We just gonna hang out and do this. And do what? Read lines? Like, no. That's not where my headspace is at. But I should have compromised a little more and been like, yeah, okay, I got you. I'll pull up and we'll do this and that and we'll figure it out. For him, that was me being selfish. I was very selfish because I knew what I had to prove. I knew what he had already, but I had to prove myself, and I was locked into that. Other than that, my responsibility was my girlfriend to be. So she was tucked under me. It was hell. I was talking earlier about handcuffing her, but she was also tucked in. Like, yeah, where are we going? These niggas looking at me. All right, get with me, baby. They ain't gonna do shit with you with me, But that was it. But I was self. But it was me and her, and it wound up being me and her against the world. I kind of pulled her into it was us. All right, we're leaving. Bye. Oh, we're all going out to drink. Yeah, have fun with that. And we're going over here. You know what I mean? And I learned now you got to be social and you don't be selfish, man. Because even now, like if I do a movie, like I get a new script, and or I join a cast or whatever, and they'll be like, "Yeah, we're doing audition. We're doing rehearsals." And then I'll be like, "Rehearsals? I don't rehearsal, man. I'm better when the camera's rolling. Just put the camera. That's for you, selfish. Rehearse with them. They want to rehearse to make them feel comfortable. You have a better project. They want to feed off of you and this and that, so forth and so on. And that's pretty much the name of the game, man. But if you have people that think the same, those are decisions you got to make. We didn't hang out with everybody that was on the cast. Every guest cast that came on Smart Guy. Nah, we didn't hang out with all of them. Couple guys, cool. But yeah, Merlin, he was on. Merlin was actually on Hang with Mr. Cooper. So that's how long I knew him. Jason Weaver, I knew him since Thea. You know what I'm saying? And I was before Hang with Mr. Cooper. So that's how far back that went. So yeah, man. So that's how we kept each other out of shit, by having each other's back. And to me, it was easy. Nothing else made sense.
What is some of the roles that you could have auditioned for where you feel like if I would have got this role, my career would have went to the next level?
I know exactly what you're asking me. And the only thing I can say without sounding like, whoa, but God always has a plan, man. Like if you really just listen to everything that I've been talking about, and I make jokes here, I love the women. But if you think about it, you said you what? You was making a lot of money, you had a good time, and you went to Vegas. Every fucking weekend. You was doing dumb shit. Yeah. We were invincible. We felt like we were going to work forever, which we have. And we weren't as smart, not all of us, as smart with our money and this and that. We just was like, fuck it, But I've always been a TV guy at first, because that's my bread and butter. I know how to book TV shows. I know how to get it. I know what they want. I know timing. I know how to look, hold myself. The camera's here. I know how to do blah, blah, blah. I do TV. Movies, a lot more politics. TV, I'm booking that shit. When I did Baby Boy, the industry saw the movie and I was in high demand. Before the movie came out, because you gotta understand, once you do a movie, it takes 6 months, maybe a year, and then it takes another 6 months to cut it, and then boom, 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 boom. With actors, we're gamblers, bro. There's nothing set in stone. We're not 9-to-5ers. You got one job. While you're doing that job, you got to look for the next job, because you don't know what's going to happen after that. What you doing after this? Shit, I don't know. I got to book something. I got to audition. I got to hope I get it. Nothing's set in stone. Even if you're on a TV series, what's after this? Hopefully we get picked up for another season. That's what's after this. I was only on one show that got picked up for two seasons, and I knew, and I was hanging with Mr. Cooper. The final 2 seasons, they said, we're doing 2 more seasons, and we're going to get to 100 episodes, and then that's that. And I was like, oh, shit. But you always have to look for the next project. You have to look at you have to look ahead. So What happened was, after Baby Boy, I booked a series. It was called The Misadventures of Fiona Plum, and I played a warlock. I just done Baby Boy, so my head was shaved, and I booked it. I booked it, signed the contract, knew how much money I was going to make, all that. And they put me on hold. They don't do this as much now, but they put me on hold for a year. And my agent's trifling asses told me that they was trifling, but they told me that people were calling for me. They're like, we just want to let you know, man, Baby Boy was hot. The industry has seen it, the screeners and the premiere and all that. Blah, 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 blah. Or no, it wasn't that it was out yet, but my name was buzzing in you know. And you can't see these people because you're under contract, but we just want to let you know that they're calling. Denzel Washington has this movie called Antwone Fisher story, and he wants you to come in and read for Antwone Fisher, but we told him you can't because you're under contract. You're supposed to start filming this TV series at the same time it films. And I was like, wow, oof, that's my guy. They're like, yeah. And then a couple months later, so you know that rapper Eminem? I'm like, yeah. He's got this movie 8 Mile. Yeah. Looking for a best friend, a rapper, if he can rap. I was like, you fucking kidding me. They're like, yeah, but you know. I just want to let you know that they was interested. They saw, you know, they know of you. So keep it, you know, maybe after this series and then, you know, hide it, blah, blah, blah. Now the bullshit is, no one has ever heard of the misadventures of Fiona Plum. You know why? Because they hired us, set a date, kept pushing the date back, held us for a year. I think it was almost 2 years because they held us, and then decided not to shoot the series. But they paid us for the entire season. So everyone got a check for over $100,000. But it was like, yay, motherfucker. And I feel like, to me, you can only tell Hollywood no so many times before they put a label on you, like, oh, this motherfucker ain't trying to work. It's like, look, I'm under contract. It wasn't my fault. But when you're hot, you have that window. Like, you see one person, he blow up in something, and then he's in everything. You know what I mean? I feel like that was that little mode there. And I think the next thing after that, it was kind of a grind for me too, because I should have been in everything. That's what you was that mother and that shit. But no, I was held for like 2 years. And then I booked this series called Playmakers. And it was fun. And I started doing all of these one and dones. I did Playmakers, which was the shit. It was on ESPN. And if anybody to remember, most guys know, them guys watch ESPN. And this was the only scripted series on ESPN. And it was about a football series. And it was real deep because, one, it was ahead of its time. The way they cinematically was awesome. If anybody has the DVD, pop it in. I'm going to still go. That shit was amazing. But it was ahead of its time because it talked about all the corruption and shit going on in the NFL that has been exposed after the fact. But at the time, we didn't know everybody was on steroids and was shooting up and doing all this and corrupt owners and all the blah, blah, blah. So the NFL hated the show and told our producers that we couldn't mention NFL in any of the promotions. And we filmed it out in Canada. We put it out in Toronto. You want to talk about a good time? Woo! You want to talk about ladies? Boy, Toronto is the shit. If you single, go to Toronto. But we had a damn good time out there, bro. We filmed that shit and came back, and it was, talk about a hit. I've never been that famous before. Now, most of the things I've done, they're black shows. Black community loves me. I go to a hood or black place and see some black people like, oh yeah, well, okay, I grew up watching you. Okay, white people, who's this? You know what I mean? For that show, every single race knew me. I love Vegas. That was my second home. I went straight to Vegas from Toronto. I got mobbed so tough that the security had to escort us out of the casino because they were like, that's DH from Playmakers. Oh my God. And then the people just leaving their chips to run over and get an autograph and a picture. And I was like, what the f is this? I think I was Michael Jackson. It was fucking crazy. But it wound up not going because the ratings were through the roof. We made millions and millions of dollars for ESPN, but they had to weigh an ESPN NFL contract, a TV show where they're making millions, or $1 billion NFL contract, and it was a no-brainer. And people were like, the show was so good, why didn't anybody else pick it up? For the same reason it got canceled. Ain't nobody fighting the NFL. Ain't nobody. All of these major networks want to have the opportunity for the NFL on TBS and CBS and ABC and TNT. So ain't none of them gonna pick this show up. If the NFL don't like it, they're like, that we don't want to ruin the chance of having the NFL on our network. So there was that. But yeah, man, I just feel like it was just circumstances. It was God's plan, man. I mean, honestly, I am real with myself a lot. And I go, yeah, nigga, could you have handled all that shit? Like, oh, the biggest star you were and you were in Vegas? That's the problem right there, brother. You know what you was going to do if that shit went 10 seasons. You end up in a casino in Toronto. Um, so, I've learned to temper my impulses. And now, as I matured, as I've had children, I even took a while to have kids. I always knew it. I'm condom. I love you, baby, but condom. I'm not having kids right now. I know that I'm not responsible enough to have kids. I kept going until I was 38. Then the woman I was with, we said, all right, let's try it. Let's go ahead and have some babies. Let's do this. And then it changed me a lot. It's as much as responsible as I was with being out and having the right people around me that understood the assignment and so forth and so on. It's a different level of you have to make it home once you become a father, in my mind. It's dear to me because I always wanted my dad to be home and he just was never there. And I thought it was because they got a divorce when I was born, or actually when I was 10. My brother and sister was like, no, he was never there. Papa was always just gone. It's just what it was. It's just his occupation, his relationship with mom, whatever the case was, he was just never there. So that meant a lot to me to be like, okay, now that I'm a dad, I got to be there. So I still do a lot of traveling, but luckily we're in a different age now. If I could have FaceTimed my pops when I was growing up, that would have meant a lot. Just, I'm like, the call is cool, but let me see your face. Oh, what's up, Dad? What's going on over there? My kids have at least that when I'm traveling. And I do think it's impactful. And it's different. So I know I'm rambling a lot, but I'm talking about your initial point of, did I miss some opportunities? Definitely missed some opportunities. Definitely could have played the game a little different, but was I ready? I don't think I was. I don't think, especially when you start, this was deep. When I watched the Michael movie, two things I took away from it. One, a good belt can inspire greatness. No, that's not a good joke. The real thing I took away from it was Michael, understanding Michael, and I got it. I get it. He wasn't able to be a kid. So as soon as he got the money to do the things he always wanted to do, let's be a kid. You spoke to all the kids that he hung out with and the accusations and all that bullshit. They were like, no, we had fun. I like that in the movie. I think they put that movie together great, man, in the sense that they showed his relationship with animals. He's like, I just want, it's something. One thing was these kids that you want me to be friends with are looking at me like, oh my God, you're Michael. That ain't no goddamn fun. These animals don't see that shit, And then when I wanted to play games and shit, my brothers they were bigger than me. They were grown. They were like, playing with you. You know what I mean? He had nobody his age. And then when he was old enough and actual kids was like, oh, you just Michael, it's cool. Oh, cool. Let's play this. Hell yeah. Let's play these games. You know what I mean? And I get that. But, for me, it just felt like you're ready when you're ready. You're ready when you're ready. And luckily I had a mother that was a prayer warrior and had God on her side and prayed things into existence in a way that it helped. It made me be more aware of just the shit that's here. You got to have that inner man strong. You got to be able to think. You got to be able to, what I'll be teaching my kids now, my oldest more so, is that you got to play chess in real life. And they be playing chess in school, which is crazy. They're like, we had a chess class. I'm like, really? And I'm like, you see how chess is? You got to think ahead. Oh, if I do this, that's going to happen. That's going to happen. You got to use that in life, man. And thinking back, I didn't do that. I did. Sometimes I'll go, nah, that's not a good idea. And again, but why didn't you fall into this trap? Or why didn't this happen? And everybody's doing coke and da-da-da. I was never big on peer pressure. I go the opposite. When everybody's doing it, cool, well, then have fun. Like, and see, you want me to not do something? Tell me I got to do it or try to force me to do it. That's what you get me to not do it. Fine, out of here. You have a better off chance saying you can do it if you want to, then I might just try it. But it's the peer pressure shit that has me going the opposite way. And through my career, man, it's just been easier for me to see things that seem, I don't know, it seems challenging to others. It's just like, you got to have belief. You got to have a faith, man. If you're meant to do this and it's in you, I knew early. That's one thing I realized early. As a kid, I was like, I remember having a feeling as a kid, this is kind of easy, which is a weird thing to say, but it just was like, wow, this is it? Oh yeah, you got the part. Of course, okay. This is, all right. I almost felt sad, like, aw. You know what I mean? I want to shake that little, like, no, get all of it. But I always knew. So I had a faith, and I still always have faith, that where I ultimately want to be, the decision-making, because I can't let people control the outcome of the projects that I do. That's why I'm producing. That's why I'm writing. That's why I'm editing. I have to have control of that, so that people get the best version of me and what I have to offer, and the storytelling and the creativity. That's why I love music. Complete control. Music is the shit. Because I write the lyrics I say, and then I listen to it. And I'm like, I don't like that. Let me redo this. Or it didn't come out. It didn't sound like it sounded in my head. Let me redo that. I love it. That's where I have to be. I have to be in control of it, because the people that I allow to control don't do a good job. And it's not even that hard. I'm just like, bro, you don't hear that the sound is off? What the fucking Tubi is this? You don't see that them lips is moving at the off singing? What is wrong with y'all? Give it here, give it here, give it here. You know, and I've tried my hand in editing. I said, this whole scene doesn't make sense. Can we move that and put that in there? Oh shit, there we go. You know, first movie I helped edit was a film called AM Radio, which you can go watch that right now. It was right in the middle of the pandemic. And we negotiated it. We were about to film it. Was getting right ready to do it. The pandemic hit. We lost all our investors. And me and the director, shout out to Ricky Burchell, said, you know what? What do you need to get this done? And I was like, shit, I'm going to lower my number because I've been staring at these walls. We've been on quarantine for 2 months. And I love my family, but I'm ready to get out. They said, well, come out here to Tennessee and let's film this film. And we filmed it. And we did a skeleton crew. And we were very safe. And then after it was over, he showed me the first cut, and I was just like, and I gave him my input on it. And then the final draft of, I said, yeah, that's it right there. And it came out great. But it just, since then, I've been a part of stuff, you know, admittedly for the money, and not because I needed the money, but because the money was too good to just pass up in this sense. We only need you for X amount of time, and you get this amount of money. Well, shit. Am I a producer, a director? I do that. Like, nah, it's our thing, but this is all you have to do, and your role is the shit. And you get this much money, and you get to fly out of town. We can do all that. And I'll do it. Why not? I was just gonna be at home. Shit. Why not? I'll take it. So it makes sense to do it. But what I should have done is say, you gotta make me a producer, not just a name, so I can have my input. I'm not gonna boss y'all around. Just let me have my input, so that before you release this shit to the world, I can just take a look and go, can we change that to that? And y'all don't see this? Oh yeah, you're right, let's change it. Because you'd be surprised, man. I've seen scripts, you read them and be like, y'all didn't know, you didn't see this typo? Oh shit, you know what? I did miss that. Thank you for pointing that out. Like, you'd be surprised how much better something will be with a different set of eyes. Somebody else just taking an extra look and going, oh, no, I caught, you didn't see that right there? Catch that. And it'll make the whole difference in the world. Or adding music. You know, how much these composers really mean to movies and to do scores for stuff. You watch a scene dry and be like, it was cool. And then you watch the scene and you get the dun, 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 dun. You're like, oh shit, now you really into it. All of those little pieces mean something. And a lot of people, you know, and Tubi's cold blood. I love Tubi because they're given, it's something different. I always talk shit about Tubi because I go, Tubi is like what BET used to be. Remember BET, you'd be like, oh man, we see the light in the back to BET. Oh, good old BET. And all the BET awards, you'd be like, look at this, but what the hell? Got the commercial, and halfway through the commercial, cut back on, like, what the fuck is this? Like, it was a mess. BET, with Tubi, the difference is they paying. Cool thing about it is, it's a revenue stream for a lot of actors who have a name, who may need just a little supplemental income in there, need or want or could use, whatever you want to use it. So they're taking the jobs, but also the regular guy is going, I want to make a movie. Tubi's like, follow these guidelines and you have a movie, right? But all they're doing is checking off the boxes. It's got to have this, it's got to have that, it's got to have that. Titties, ass, some gun shooting, say a couple niggas every 5 minutes, boom, and you can be on Tubi. But we just need to eventually, we're just going to learn to do better. We're going to expect more. And the funny thing is, too, I love my people, man. I said something about Tubi, and women said, oh, I love my Tubi movies. I said, damn, but the quality's so bad. She's like, that's why I love them. Because it may be hood as hell, but sometimes you just want some ratchet shit. You just want it. I want to hear all this goody shit. No. Let me see the grimy shit. I know, bitch, and shot that bitch in the face. It's my shit. Boy, I had a good laugh. Because I love it. That's what I'm in the mood for. This all goes back to what we started talking about at the beginning about the roast. Look, I know they're going to be talking shit. If you ain't in the mood for that shit, then don't watch it. Don't tell me that this man can't feed his family by going up there. Because they told all these motherfuckers, even one of the motherfuckers got up there and said, they told me to be racist, so I'm going to be racist. But he didn't say you N-word. He just said, you know, you black bastard. Like it was close, but it wasn't there. But then again, but I also don't want to backtrack because there is a line. There is a line. And I you know, as much as it was crossed, I didn't get offended because they told you up front, we're going to cross the line and we're going to go there. And this is a roast. This ain't the comedy happy show. You want to see the happy show? Turn to the other channel.
A few more things I want to ask you, man, before we end it. You was in a car crash, right? I remember being on social media and I seen you in a neck brace. Like, what happened, man?
Yeah, man. Yeah, man. Some accidents happen and some accidents aren't accidents. And I say that I got to get a little spiritual, man. I was talking to a friend of mine. Shout out to Marty Scott, man, and the amazing God's Love is Amazing movement, man. And we were talking about it. And I said, sometimes it's Satan attacks and this happens and that happens. And he said, that wasn't Satan. God allowed that to happen. I was like, what you mean? God? Yes. And I know what he means now. Now, what happened was I was paid to show up to a party, and it's called hosting. We do it all the time. And I went out there, did the party, and I was supposed to fly out the very next day. So the original plan was I hired a guy who also does my security, and he was supposed to drive. He's going to be my driver. Drive, pick me up, we'll go to this function, and then drop me off, go home, then pick me up the next day and take me to the airport. And I made the bad judgment call of forget all that. Let's just stay even longer at the function, it was actually a birthday party that so that means there was no limit. They probably still partying. But we stayed till damn near 4 o'clock in the morning because I was like, my flight don't leave till 8. So why leave at midnight when we can leave at 4? Then you can just drive me for 2 hours back to my house, and then we'll just go straight to the airport. And it was just too much. I was tired, shit. We left at 4 a.m. I'm in the back seat of this vehicle and reclined and sleep. It was a 2-hour drive. It's 4 in the morning. I'm gonna give me some sleep. And what I think happened was I went to sleep and this nigga said, I'm gonna go to sleep too. No. What happened was it's 4 in the morning and there were some mistakes were made. Something happened. And according to the police report, he hit the center divider and that's pretty much all she wrote. Once he lost control of the vehicle, we skid. I don't think we flipped, but we hit bang, 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 because I just remember just bang, 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 bang. We rested on the side of the freeway, and I was just like, get the out of this car. Everybody, don't move them, all that type of shit. I'm like, that. I don't want to get hit by another car that don't see us or whatever the case. It's 4 in the morning. So I hit the door and tried to pull it open. I got it halfway and then, yanked it open, got out the car. I took 3 steps and my whole right side of my body shut down. Just went numb, dead. And I fell to the floor, bam. And I used my left side to kick and push myself all the way as far as I could away from the freeway and into like the bushes and shit. So I'm in the bushes now, I can't move at all. And I'm just staring up at the sky and he's walking around because of course the driver never gets injured. He's walking around me and he sees me and you all right? I'm like, no, do I look all right? I can't move. Are you all right? And he's like, oh, my elbow. I'm like, yeah, your elbow. So we are waiting and, not the helicopter, but the fire department comes and they pick us up, put me on the thing, secure me, whatever, get me to the hospital. And they're like, damn, there's ants all over him. And I'm like, yeah, I know. I was in the fucking bushes. And they did the x-rays and everything. And luckily, I did not. They said, you broke your neck, is what they told me. And they said, we're going to see if you're going to need surgery. And God was good. God intervened. And I didn't need surgery. They told me I was going to wear a neck brace for 3 months. And that was 2 months ago. So the last set of x-rays that I got, he said, go ahead and take it off. You can't do physical therapy for another 6 weeks, but you can at least take it off. I said, can I travel? I can do this, can I do that? Can I drive? He said, yeah. Can you do this? Can you do that? Well, you could, So he said it was a C2 injury. They call it the hangman's injury. The C2 is the second one, down right there, right under my neck. And, my main thing was shit. I'm going to tell my kids, my boy, I'm world today. I'm Mr. Strong Man. We doing 100 push-ups a night and shit challenge with each other, And when I got, I saw my, their mom, should I bring him? I was like, nah, you FaceTime me. I FaceTime them. I'm like, they're like, oh, Dad, what's all that? And I'm just like, yeah, man, I got to an accident, but I'm all right. I said, but you know what? Remember all them push-ups we did? They made me strong up here. So where I worded it, I said, I was strong up here, so I hurt myself, but not as bad because I was so strong up top. What you think helped it? And my youngest went, the push-ups. I said, that's right, the push-ups, baby. So stay on them push-ups. I said, and it was the C2 injury, which is what happened to this actor that used to play Superman. And I survived and he's gone. So I'm stronger than Superman. And my son beam lit up. Now, we went to school and some kid said, "Oh man, what happened to your dad's neck?" And he said, "My dad's stronger than Superman." I was like, "All right, keep it down, man. Keep it down. That's between us, man." But tell her that. No. But God is good, man. And I realized a lot of things, man. It was another sit down moment, bro. It was a sit down moment for me because like COVID sat us down and made us kind of take walks and appreciate the family, the people that are here and all that type of shit. It was the same thing for me. Just what's important, what's the main thing, my kids, did you have to be out that late, why did you take the 4 o'clock, blah blah blah. I've had clarity than a motherfucker. I've been not only sober, but a lot of things that I kind of procrastinated with, putting off, writing wise and stuff like that, clear-minded. Oh man, it's been a blessing. And I was able to see God from it. You know what I'm saying? Not like literally people, oh, near death, did you hear a voice? I didn't hear shit. But I knew that it was him saying, no, sit your ass down, because you could have been gone. And they kept telling me how lucky I was, which is what really f you up. When the people said, no. You hear it once, oh, you're a lucky guy. No, when the surgeons, they don't do that God shit. Not in the, I ain't say it like that, God shit. But surgeons, they're on some other shit. They're like, you're a puzzle. We have to fix you. They're like, you are very lucky, bro. Like this injury you have, you should be either dead or paralyzed for sure. I mean, I had partial paralysis, I told you. And then the feeling came back after like 20, 30 minutes of laying in them damn bushes. I was like, oh, I can move my hand. Oh, thank God. And they keep doing this. Can you feel this? Can you do that? I'm like, yes, I'm good. So, and I could feel the prayers, which is dope, man. A lot of people kept texting and calling, even though I said, please leave me alone. And I could feel it, because the fact that I healed so quickly also is a testament to a higher power, man. You gotta have a belief. You can't backtrack that, man. For everybody listening, I'm serious. You gotta stand on something. You know what I mean? And it'll help. It'll help. Sometimes you just gotta quiet yourself. People get confused or stressed or overwhelmed. Shut the fuck up. Do that. Close your mouth and do like this. You'll know. Because then if you make the wrong mistake, you always know. Soon as you make the mistake, you go, shit, I knew it. I should, yes. Well, next time, listen. It kind of funny too, because I started to drive myself. Would have avoided all that. I wouldn't have drank. I wouldn't have did this. I wouldn't have did that. But at the last moment, I said, you know what, that, come pick me up. You know what I mean? And that, boom. But again, I'm happy for it. You know what I'm saying? I done got right. My homeboy called me and said, you look kind of big, man. And I was like, yeah, man, they got me laid up. I said, fuck that laid up. As soon as you can walk, try getting 10,000 steps a day in. And I was like, 10,000? And he says, like, it's not as hard as you think. It's just walking, not running, not jogging, just walk. And I was like, all right. I swear, ever since he said that, I've been doing that shit. And it's fun because you got an iPhone and you walk around, just keep the phone in your pocket. And you look up and say, oh, 4,000, huh? And you keep, oh, damn, 8,000. God damn. Let me walk around the block a few more times. This shit. Oh, 10,000. Ain't that a bitch? And you'll crave this shit. But it's clear. I'm walking around. My mind is just going, man. And I'm just getting so much accomplished and done now. And I would not have done that without that accident. I don't recommend it. Hey, man, you want to change your life? Go, hire an idiot to drive. I get somebody real sleepy. Oh shit, Uber is different for me now. Let me tell you that. I sit in the front now. I bring coffee. Is this Starbucks? Is this for you? No, it's for you. Drive the car.
You being from LA, when Big got killed, was you at that party?
I remember the news. That's fucked up, man, because that was like, through the whole time, I'm an MC, bro. I'm telling you. And definitely Pac over Biggie, but I was an MC, bro. I was in Vegas when they shot Pac. And I remember being at the Fat Burger and someone said, they killed Tupac. And he wasn't dead yet. He had just got shot on that. It was a fight night. Everybody was out there because it was fighting. Everybody, you want to get to Vegas, you either go to I didn't go to the fight, but I was out in Vegas. Like I said, second home. But when Biggie got shot and killed, you knew he was dead. It was just kind of like, You're never happy someone's dead, but you kind of went, well, okay, I even, it's kind of crazy because we talked about the roast, and I'm built different. I take it for what it is. If you're trying to offend me, I know it. If you say the N-word in an offensive way, then I'm offended. If you say it because you're trying to be cool, I may not like it, but I know what it is. You know what I'm saying? Even the jokes, he tried the George Floyd shit, and I was just like, yo, I just wouldn't do that. Like, ugh. But I know it was entertainment. You know what I mean? And Biggie made the last album, and when he said, my team in the Marine Brew came through, skeeted out, ooh, long kisses, bitch. Oh, I hated and loved that song because it was such good music. It was creative, and he long kiss. Woo! We ain't mad at you. I ain't mad at you. We ain't mad. I said, oh, Biggie, what the? And then when they got him, I was like, It was also a cautionary tale, man. Be careful what the fuck you say. You're snared by the words of your mouth, man. You gotta be careful with what you. I feel for these people that make a living off of talking shit. You make a living off of that shit. Some people lie. They don't even talk shit. They straight up lie for clicks and likes. Be careful. Biggie, a lot of it happens more in music too. Life after death, ready to die. People talking about, and if I die tomorrow, and then when they kill me, and then it happens. It happens more often than not. And you're just, woo, I mean, you telling you, when I write my shit, I'm always surrounded by women, lots of women, loving money, money. I'll rap about it if I die tonight. No. Let's retake. Let me take that line the fuck out. We'll rap about winning and good shit. But anyway, it's just what you put out in the air, man. So, and in the universe, and it kind of goes both ways too. You got to keep your mouth shut on plans that aren't solidified. That's why it's tough to talk about shit too. What you got coming up next? Oh, we doing this. Yeah, nothing. Don't worry about it. You know when you know. And plans too, because shit, people talk. People love to talk, boy. They will talk. You meet, socialize, and we got this. We gonna do this. Oh, I can't wait to bring you out to here. We go, yay! And you be like, all right, call it. We doing that? Oh no, yeah, no. So God is good though, man. It's been a blessing to have a career up until this point that's still thriving, that people want to see, that want to tune in, that are tapped in, that f with me, and to be able to pick and choose, you know what I mean? My projects, my timing, because when you have kids, they don't want to hear that I've got to work shit. They don't understand it. You got to make them understand it. I'll bring them to set and they get it, which is fun. They're like, oh, you going to do your thing? Or, why do people keep stopping you and taking pictures? It's because you're famous? Yeah, cool. Can I buy this? No. No. But because you gotta teach them to value shit. You know what I mean? You can just buy everything for them. You almost want to make them work hard. You don't want to talk about that. But yeah, man, it's definitely, this accident it just didn't feel like an accident, even though it was crazy. And it's funny too, because the way I react to things, if it happens in the moment, I'm numb. When crisis and shit happen, earthquake happen, it's get to the door. Something's going on, it's hold on, let's get this together. People lose, screaming. Nah, chill out, let's get this right. I've had guns pulled on me and shit, and I get stuff like, the fuck is this? After the fact, people, oh, you a G, G, man, what I'm gonna do? No, that's just what it was. But in the accident, in the moment, when I describe it, I was like, what you mean you had to yank the door off? And then your body went out, you had to pull yourself in the bushes and shit? I was like, it was just go, get there, get home. Boom. This is happening? Oh, well. All right. You know what I mean? What the fuck is yelling gonna do? You may miss the point. I hate seeing them videos and there's that one girl going, oh my God. You're like, shut up. What is your yelling gonna do? But some people, that's how they react. They scream, While some of us are here to restore order and keep shit calm, man.
Let me ask you, right? Since you was in Baby Boy and you had one of the main roles, Taraji P. Henson, she came out a few weeks ago and she went viral for some comments she made. She feels like she never got a franchise role, but Tyrese, after he did Baby Boy, he got a franchise role, but she never got hers. How you feel about that?
Yeah, so I think what it is it's the word franchise, and it's, she has an Oscar. She's done even, I think if you take the opportunity, now I'm curious to know the timeline of that because it's an older interview for sure. So at the time of the interview, had she done Empire? Because Empire, she got taken care of quite nicely. It went a few good seasons. And, it was funny too, because even my brother was like, damn, y'all make that much money on television? I'm like, some do, So it's one of those things. She said the key word is franchise. He landed 2 franchise roles. He's, not to knock his acting, because he's done, I told him this when I saw 1991. I don't know if you had a chance to see that, the more recent one about the Watts riots. I said, that was beautifully done, brother. I said, that's your favorite after that Annapolis film. That's my favorite. It's Baby Boy, this and that. I think those are your 3, that's it. Now, with respect, The franchise roles, he does a good job in them. You know what I mean? Again, not to knock his acting, but yeah, it's you're the black guy. You're one of the. It's him and Luda. You know what I mean? But you're the black guy. Oh shit! Hell no! You're that. And I know how that sounds, but it is what it is. And I think he's the same in Transformers. But here's the thing too. A lot of times, and this isn't like an excuse, but it is what it is. Because I had beef internally with the era that Hollywood started giving black roles, black acting roles to rappers and singers. That shit pissed me off. I was like, I gotta make a rap album more to get an acting job. Like, this is crazy. And they weren't all bad. Like I said, Tyrese, I think he's a decent actor. Luda is a decent actor. T.I., I think he's better than the two of them, honestly. I think he's real solid in the roles and the stuff that I've seen him in. Maybe not Tyrese, I'd give a little bit more. But anyway, there have been some that have been really good, but there have some like come on. Ja Rule and Steven Seagal, like, come the fuck on. Like, there have been some shit that I just was like, you know how many good, polished, the guys are going, I'm fortunate. I didn't have to go to acting class. I was a natural actor, but there's natural actors and so forth and so on. But the business of it is they're going, Tyrese has a following already. He is a recording artist, a successful recording artist. Of course, brother looks good. He still got his abs. He don't have to do sit-ups. Yes, we gonna give this nigga the role, and he's got a following. Yes, he's gonna be that guy in this movie. He's already got a following. We don't have to sell it. Boom. Yes, you can't compare yourself to him unless you did the work to become the recording artist first, and then you get into acting, and there's a lot more opportunities for you. That just is what the fuck it is. Taraji's statement directly is that she wasn't getting the franchise roles, but that also goes to her, oh my God, they only gave me 10 million, where this other girl got 20 million, 30 million. It kind of, it's like, let me go viral. It's called black entitlement. Look, motherfucker, you ain't white. You ain't gonna get them. No. It's you just gotta be realistic. It's almost like be happy you got that. It's kind of that. It's a little bit of that. But realistically, it's just hard to feel like, oh, really? Like you're crying, motherfucker? Like we've come a long way, and I know it's a long road, but some people have had to wait even longer. Has Morgan Freeman never got one? This motherfucker been old. He started old. He's still at it and still chasing it. You know what I mean? Denzel should have 10 fucking Oscars right now. You know what I mean? It's like 2? What the fuck? Like, it makes no fucking sense. So who are we to be like, oh, damn, I did this? But directly, the movie Baby Boy goes back to what I was saying. Even me, like, oh man, you should have been acting in the bigger. Like, first of all, I wasn't the lead. I wasn't the lead. I wasn't promoted like that. They didn't even put me in the music video, which was a direct choice of some hater shit, but so what? Me and Angel, the only two motherfuckers that weren't in it. Angel was a video vixen at the time. They didn't have her in the video with a bikini on dancing around. You dancing, baby. But Omar, the sweet pea wasn't in the motherfucking video. Everybody else was in the video. You know what I mean? So I'm not tripping on what didn't or did come from that. It was one of those things where I was always like, be patient, your time will come, and people know, and the cream rises to the top type of a thing. So I always had that kind of thing. But with Taraji, the movie itself didn't get. It wasn't like, oh damn, where's my franchise role? I did Baby Boy. Like, Baby Boy? What did the box office do? That's what they're looking at. They looked at what did the box office do? It didn't do shit. Yeah, well, he was in it. He got a franchise role. Yeah, because he sold millions of records. And he's an actor. And he was this. And a million. That's why he got the franchise role. That's it. Do you think he's a better actor than you? Well, that'll be up to you to debate. But I don't think he would debate how much of a better actor he is than another actor when his bread and butter is singing. You know what I mean? He's an entertainer. He's a singer. He also raps. Is he going to come up and say, I'm a better rapper than all these other rappers? Like, no, you ain't. Is you a bad singer? You a bad mother? I always think of that Coca-Cola commercial on the bus. He was a bad mother. You know what I mean? So yeah, that's my comment on that. And then, I'm sure she's fine now. But she could still say that though. But damn, why did I not every actor or actress has a franchise role. You know what I mean? But with the Oscar, she can pick and choose and do whatever she wants now. She holds the keys. I'm sure that was pre-Oscar when she said that anyway.
Nah, she said this April of this year.
I stand corrected. Yeah, I still don't know why. I'll admit when I'm wrong. Yeah, but it's just like, what more do you want? Would you trade a franchise role versus Empire? Empire was awesome. A lot of people watching TV. Everybody watched that show at the time. That probably put her back on the map to get her, a lot of other stuff she had. So I don't know. I mean, some people just want to have something to say. You know what I mean? Well, if there are any regrets, yeah, why am I not even bigger? Like, man, knock it off. Your role is your role. Your lane is your lane. I thought she was phenomenal in that Tyler Perry film. The last, I don't know if you saw Straw, because I haven't seen like a lot of Tyler Perry's work, but most of what I've seen kind of followed a pattern, and that didn't. That impressed the fuck out of me, because most of the movie was following the pattern that I was like, Tyler Perry, black woman, sad, everything's terrible, it's crazy, blah, blah, blah. And then there was a twist, and I was like, oh shit, okay. And she was phenomenal in it. But she's dope, man. I think if that's all you have to complain about is that you don't have a franchise movie role, like, you can count the people that have franchise. Who else can you point to that has a franchise movie, right? You know what I mean? They only do, There's only 10 of them, and then they do 20 of them. Matter of fact, those are two. Unless they add you to that, what else are you gonna be in?
You being in Hollywood so long, have you ever had to do a sex scene? I heard they make you wear a sock, and how does that work?
I'm pretty sure I know what you're asking. I got a bunch of things to say about it, so I'll try not to be too long-winded about this. But when you're doing a sex scene, here's the thing. It's not a turn on. Neither person should be turned on, because you're acting. She doesn't really like you. You may be attracted to each other on some other shit, but you're not focused on that. You're focused on the lines. You're focused on the performance. You're focused on it's like, fuck that. It's fucking you. Y'all supposed to be fucking. But like I said, there's two things. So a lot of people are like, oh man, you was with Whoop-de-Whoop and you had that scene and Halle Berry was kissing on your neck. I know you was like, no, was it, bro? I was excited it was her, but I wasn't just like, oh, her. Excuse me, I need a cold shower. No, motherfucker. Because it's a different part of the brain. Now, if you at a bar, you somewhere and it's intimate, now she's into you. You like, oh shit, that's different. Now it's, oh baby, you don't be rubbing on me like that, But when you're working, it's work. You know what I mean? But here's the thing. They encourage real intimacy. They want to see real chemistry, because you can't fake chemistry. Well, you can, because people thought me and Tyrese were close. You can't fake attraction. So like when I was in high school, this is crazy. When I was in high school, I remember I was always picked to be like the leading guy in like the stage plays that we would do. And then, another girl would get cast as the leading girl. And I remember once they had the girl that was the lead and I was the lead male, they said, okay, you guys are, together. And my teacher, shout out to Miss Horn, Miss Sweeney, she said, okay, I want you guys to do an exercise, right? And now looking at her, I was not attracted to her. She wasn't ugly. She just wasn't my type. And vice versa, right? So they said, this is what I want you guys to do. I want you to sit across from each other. I want you to give each other compliments about anything. Look at each other, pick something, and say, I like that. And I like your hat. I like your shoes. I like your shirt. I like your shirt. I like your nails. I like your hair. I like your lips. I like your eyes. Boy, after like 10 compliments, we were just like, you want to go somewhere quiet? And like we had developed an appreciation for each other by noticing things that we wouldn't necessarily normally notice. It was just like, oh, your lips is nice too, so are yours. Let me see, oh shit. Now we're flirting with each other. And we didn't wind up doing nothing outside of the play, but it was now easier to have that fake chemistry during the play. Whereas without that little exercise, we'd be like, oh, I love you too. We're actors and all that, but the I love you was more, I love you, because I'm thinking about your lips and your hair, and we've done these exercises. So that's when I learned that that's what they do. But then in movies and TV, like whenever I was cast as the lead guy, I had input on the girl they would cast. And they say, which one you like? And I was like, I like her the best. They're like, that's the one we like. We're happy you like her too. Okay, good. Now I could have picked the wrong one and then whatever. Well, we just wanted to know. But they were definitely going to consider, hopefully, that it's one that, well, we're between this one and this one. Hey, Omar, which one you like? I like that one. Like, good. We like her too. You know what I mean? That happens a lot. And that's what they want. And that's why it happens a lot that people act as boyfriend and girlfriend in a movie or a TV show or whatever, and then they start dating in real life. We see it all the time. Look at J-Lo. She's like, God damn, but no, well, they connected. You know what I'm saying? And then it winds up happening. But it's not just her. It's a lot of women that, they're sleeping around. Sleeping around. You're acting until you're not acting. But that's why I feel so strongly about my checklist of things I will and will not do. Because some things are acting and some things aren't acting. Because all you do is kiss them on the lips, but that's not acting no more. You're actually kissing that motherfucker. No. Where'd the acting part go? Acting is pantomime. That's acting. Like, no, this is that's not acting. That's actual, something. So it's interesting. But these sex scenes, yeah, man. It's also tough because I've heard the rumors. But I wasn't there. I've been in scenes, every single one I've been in, again, it's just been business. Because you also don't want to be the creepy guy. You kissing extra and just, all right, cut, get off me, Or because what they'll do is, like, even the director, they don't want to be like, all right, put your tongue here, grab her ass. I want you to do that. And some of them do, like, yeah, get a little bit more. I always want to have something to be intimate. I'll be like, tell us what you want us to do. Exactly. And some of them, they don't want to do that. They'll be like, all right, here comes that. Let's let it go. And we'll see what happens. And it's like, it's awkward because it's like, okay, just let it happen. If she comes to you or blah, blah, but you don't want to be the one doing extra. And it's like, creep, you know what I mean? So it's tricky. But you also get the, you say, oh, such and such, I heard they really had sex during that scene. Well, were they in a relationship? Yeah. All right. But still, why would they do it in front of you? It's like, I don't know. I'm not buying that. I don't believe so. But yeah, they also do, they put the little pasties on and there's, some, if you need it, tape that to your leg, and cover the nipples up and then, when they do. But yeah. That's about all I give you on that without that.
Do they make you wear a sock?
Yeah, there's ways to hide it, especially when you have to do full front. I only had one time where I had to do full naked and I was getting in shape and I was working out. It was for Playmakers and I'm talking like an hour before I had to film the scene, they knocked on my door and they said, hey, so we're going to do the naked scene. Did you want us to get one of these body doubles or were you going to do it? I was like, you got a body double? They're like, yeah, I got a guy who matches your same skin tone and everything. He's the guy we use it for the running back. You want him to just do it? And I was like, oh, so I get punked out. I don't know. It was just like, why? I was stressing myself out too. I was looking at my ass and shit like, all right, is that okay? How's that going to look on camera? How's it going to look? Clinch it? Do I got to clinch it the whole time? Then he just knocked it. Hey, you want us to do the body double? Let's do the body double then. Shit. So I don't know. It's up to you. But I remember my brother. I remember he talked about Jerry Maguire, and he's like, yeah, when I auditioned for this shit, and they said, you got a problem with nude? He said, shit. What does this look like to y'all? They're like, you got the part, but you got the part. Put your drawers on. Put your drawers on. So yeah, it just depends on the person, man. You offer me an Oscar, shit. No. He didn't know what was going to happen.
Omar Gooding, great interview, like always, man. Incredible interview. Before we head out, man, let the people know what you got going on and where they can find you.
God is good, man. Yeah, man. So the year started off with me filming a series. We did 6 episodes. We're going to do a big rollout. It's going to be a lot to talk about. So we're close on that. So I'll just table that. Just know I got something fun coming with that. I've got 2 internet series which are fun that I've 3 of them. One's called Papa's Baby, one is called Kill Shot, one is called Blades for Knives, and 3 totally opposite roles. One, I'm a villain, which I haven't been a villain before, and this was awesome, and it was action, it was so much fun. And then 2 that I have not started production yet that are happening next week. So those are starting. I'm still doing my stand-up comedy. I got a comedy. There's a new room in LA that everybody's, I heard Chappelle has been there. I think Kanye was there last week, even though he's not doing comedy. Shout out to the Starlight Cabarets. If you're in California, look it up, go check it out. I'm gonna go make my return to comedy. But shit, I've only been out again for 2 months. It's my big return. But it's my first time doing it in a while. Matter of fact, I'm doing something tomorrow night too. But anyway, so I got that coming. I got a tour with shout out my man Charles Allen and Charlie Mack. We gonna get the We Out Here comedy tour going again. And I got music, man. Music. I dropped the album. I gotta keep it coming, man, because people saw the rap beef that I had and was just like, all right, man, but can you do records that you ain't dissing? I said, look, man, I got so much in my bag. Got to keep my father's legacy going. I got the ear. I got the sound. I can sing, but I'm not a singer, so I steer away from that. I do hip hop, and it's melodic, you know what I mean? And especially the way hip hop has evolved, which I'm proud of. I got some dope collaborations. I did stuff with Cassidy. Y'all heard the Glasses Malone track that's on the Overstand Me album. Go get that. And it's my era, but it's an era of good music, man. I think hip hop stopped at one point, and then after Biggie and Pac died, the kids got scared and just started partying and just kind of lost focus of like being a wordsmith. And I think that with Drake and Kendrick being on top and clashing and going at it, people are listening to words again. So that's what makes it fun for me, being a creator and saying stuff without being preachy, but just putting word play and getting, if you like my interviews and you like what I do when I get down through my career, you're gonna love the music. So real excited about that. And God is good, man. So, and I'm turning 50. So I'll probably be in your city, wherever you at. Because I'm gonna do 50 cities in 50 days. No, I'm not gonna do that. But it's big year, man. Big year.